G'day and welcome to the Hunting Connection podcast. My name is Zach Williams and I am your host. Here we'll connect you with hunters, fishers and outdoor enthusiasts from around the globe. This podcast will share hunting and fishing stories, including past experiences, and tackle the tough hunting stereotypes our community faces. We hope to be a positive influence to those outside the community while also having a laugh along the way. Hope you enjoy the podcast. G'day and welcome to another episode of the Hunting Connection podcast. Well, we've finally made a year. It's come around. We're celebrating it with a bang. We've got Josh Haines, we've got Josh from Send It Mate, and we've got Ilias back as well. And I pronounced his name right.
How are you guys?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good.
Good.
And did you say you pronounced his name wrong?
Yes.
Last time it was like 8 cuts of him just... I had to hear the intro like 20 times because he just... oh, no, I said it wrong again. There's a funny story, right? Like, I hung out with this dude for like 2 years, maybe 3 years. Don't do that. And he was calling me like Elias or something the whole time.
Elias for 2 years.
And then I go hunting with him and Luke, and we're in the car, and, you know, Zach says, oh, you know, blah, 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 Elias. And Luke looks at him and goes, why the hell do you keep calling him that? And I said, hey, man, I'm sorry, but, you know, I just didn't want to burst your bubble, you know. So I didn't want to make you feel bad. So.
He's like, you're calling me the wrong name. I'm like, what do you mean I'm calling you the wrong name? Isn't that your name? And he's like, nah. I'm like, why haven't you corrected me? I'm like,
polite, man.
Too polite.
Well, it's pretty similar, close enough.
And then me trying to pronounce his last name, that was just an epic fail.
It's not even, like, his first name's not even difficult to pronounce, but I want to ask your last name, but we'll keep it off the air if you want.
I don't care. It's Matane.
It's
Matane.
Matane.
Yeah, but
Matane.
just reading it, I'd never heard it before. I was trying to read it and I'm dyslexic as fuck.
You've never shopped at Matane's
No.
before?
Matane's chicken
Matane's?
salt is another one. Yeah.
Bloody oath.
Shake, shake, shake.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had that.
It's a South Australian thing as well, man.
But yeah, it was a shit show, but it was a good laugh. Something I won't live down anyway.
That's
He
all right. I'll
hasn't
call
forgot
you.
about it, though.
No.
Oh, neither. It will be a talking point for a long time, that's for sure.
It's all right, because every time someone talks about you, I'm like, oh, Aussie Sparrow. Yeah.
He's like our Captain Sparrow in the hunt.
Pretty much. Where's the rum gone?
I had a Canadian dude call me Action Man Manatee once, and I thought, it's underwater. Watch me. I mean, we look the same, so.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Cody, if you're listening, I want you to make that into a meme.
Action Man and Manatee.
Manatee, yeah.
How do you draw that picture?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go into this.
A manatee with a bow.
Going in there.
A manatee with a bow and arrow cruising through the Florida Everglades with a back quiver on.
I'm just thinking of this gigantic
Steal
whale's penis. On this
Where did that come from?
Oh, that's all I'm thinking. Well, action. I'm like,
Just
yeah,
play
get
on.
some action. I don't know. Settle down.
Jesus, man. This has turned into an episode of Send It Mate.
Oh, God. It's pretty hard to keep it PG, bro.
No, it's good, man. It's good. It's a good laugh. So it's been a big year for everyone. Everyone's got onto some game, some more than others. Some have gone to their first species, their first deer, their first everything. The man behind most of these first species and first deers is Hainesy.
It's been a good year. It's been fun.
It's been great.
Yeah, sharing around a lot. So that was pretty happy. That's probably my highlight of the year, to be honest. Seen a lot of guys go out and have some fun and shoot some deer and just enjoy what we do best.
Yeah.
Almost killing a couple dudes. Drinking more beer than what's produced.
Bit of dehydration, bit of severe hangovers as I experienced after being down the southeast.
Many Ks, I tell you. A lot of Ks on walking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I got to ask, so through the year, because we're on the topic, what was the biggest cock up for your guiding this year?
Heck, I haven't even thought of that.
What biggest?
Inviting us out.
Apart from you not sharing your little Cadbury chocolates, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I knew those caramellos would come back to haunt me.
We did hear he had 8, and then we seen him eating one at lunch. We're like, oh, hey, can we grab one of them? He's like, this is the last one.
I had 4, but
You know that little pack that I got? You know the one out of my hip?
Yeah.
Full of Snickers bars.
You're kidding me.
And me and Martin went out.
Another one.
Yeah, we went out on that second day and we were walking around and he was looking pretty wrecked. I was pretty tired too.
Yeah.
And I lay down to have a little nap. Before I had to sleep, I was like, oh, Snickers bar. So I reached in, grabbed one.
Beautiful.
And Martin looked at me like, just desperation in his eyes. So you want one of these? And he's just like I'd given him gold, you know. He was so happy.
I was expecting you to be like, you want one of these? And then you just start eating it, but in front of him just...
Not that
What is it
cool.
with both of you carrying chocolate?
Hey, you do a lot of walking around and whatnot, and you just have this little nugget of just happiness in your little pouch. And
I normally use that little nugget of happiness after I've put something on the ground to carry it out.
I'm usually unsuccessful.
Yeah, but you've got a whole pocket full.
No, I only bring 2, 3, 4
Dozen.
Yeah.
I reckon I'm just hanging to get back to the car for the morning beer because it's a justification to have a beer at 10 o'clock in the morning after a hunt.
Yeah, no, I love those lollies in the bino harness or the...
I don't do the lollies, but if I got a Snickers bar, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think I've been on a hunt
Is
with
it
you
the
not
nuts?
having a...
It's like this. In the last one, it's definitely the nuts. I just caught on. But
He gets the man size just to...
I reckon Zach's caramello koalas were actually not the small ones. They were those big ones.
They were the big ones.
Yeah,
they weren't the
so
small
Not
ones.
the small. They were the
the
jumbo
ones that
ones.
come in the fundraiser.
Are your
packs.
Snickers the party size ones, or are they just the little ones, or the medium ones, or what?
The big boys.
The big boys.
That's
The man size.
Talking
If I
about
can get one of
Snickers
those,
bars.
if I can get one of those twin packs, I'm.
Oh, 20s. Yeah.
We did like an episode, the last episode, when you were saying what's in your bag, because he takes everything. There's literally, I don't know, anything you could ever need is in his pack, but mine's just got chocolate and a couple of
You're gonna have to get a
Yeah.
Cadbury sponsor just so you guys can hunt next year.
I can put your face in Cadbury.
I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
Little Action Man chocolates.
I'll have BOM coming after me.
You know, I actually like the Milky Bars. You know, they're pretty good too. They're my favourite.
Milky Way, mate.
Nah, the
Nah, Milky
Bars-
Bar kids.
Yeah.
They're good. White chocolate.
You don't eat the Milky Bar Kid, you eat the Milky
Nah,
Ways,
here
mate.
comes. Wait, hang on now.
You're not on your trip with your mate again.
Oh, repressed memories in the scream.
But anyway, getting back to your question, Josh.
That's right.
I reckon that probably I didn't have anything go wrong in the way of firearms or hunts as such. Yeah, Martin, I reckon, was probably the
That was
most
me, man.
full-on hunt we've had. If you weren't coming down there that morning to go to Lucendale and that, I reckon I would have been probably running back to the hut,
Yeah.
getting the ute, bolting out there and bolting to
What
Boytown.
got in, man, got your call, and you're like, get down here, where are you? Oh, this paddock. I'm like, yeah, great.
And believe it or not, he was actually early for once. He was on time. He was on time.
That's because you told him to get there the day before.
I give him maybe 5 minutes late, but yeah, Martin had a lung, like he had a tear in his lung, which is a birth thing that he's got, and yeah, he started bleeding
Yeah.
overnight, and in the morning he was keen and eager to get out for a hunt, and he didn't really express himself that morning well, saying that he was unwell because he thought he was okay. But we walked probably 3.5 Ks that morning, which is 3.5 Ks too far. And then I spotted a couple of deer and I bolted because that's what I do sometimes. I just get after them to try and get onto the animals. And I turned around to tell Martin that I'll see him at the fence, and he's on all fours, bleeding again out of his nose and mouth, and that. And I said, no, I'll run back to the car, man, and get the car. And he's like, no, get that done, and then we'll assess it later. But on the way on that, for me to go and shoot those 2 deer, I rang Josh and said, where are you? And he goes, I'm just about to pull in, man. And I said, well, when you get down here, come to the quarters and come out to the southeastern corner, which he did. And I had the deer down and whatnot. We chucked it on the back, picked him up, and we shot to Bordertown.
Straight to hospital.
But yeah, I think he had, what did he have? He had 5 hours in Bordertown Hospital, back to the farm. I drove him to Willaluka, then he went in the ambulance to Narracourt. Mount Gambier he went on to. And then Mount Gambier to Adelaide in 8 days in Flinders.
Yeah, that's mental.
Yeah.
So
He's all good now, though, so...
Yeah, he's pulled through now, but he's just got to monitor that birth defect that he's got.
So, yeah, if you're out on a hunt and something like that happens, don't try and push on. Let them know. We won't, you won't get judged because of it. It's a severe medical issue.
Yeah. If you're eager and keen to hunt, you can come back. You don't have to push through something like that. But I think...
It almost takes, you take for granted, we're all pretty normal. Reasonably normal.
Define normal.
Physically, not mentally.
We can walk.
Yeah.
You sort of take it for granted, man, because, out of all the hunting, and I've hunted some high country, and I've never taken as much as a Band-Aid with me.
Absolutely.
Ever.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yep. I do have a little first aid kit in my backpack, but I guarantee you all that stuff should be replaced.
Yeah.
It's still better than nothing at the end of the day. I hear you boys on Send It Mate, you don't carry much. You've discussed it a few times with my mum.
I never took anything with me.
Yeah, I've always got a first aid kit.
It's amazing what duress can, you can do under duress. And really, you're wearing clothes, so you've got something that could, soak up bleeding. You've got a belt on, so you've got a tourniquet. Everything else.
Speaking for yourself with a belt, I don't need a belt.
Yeah. Well, you're looking all right. You're looking better than what you were.
Yeah, I've lost a couple kilos, mate.
Yeah. You did look pregnant. No,
Look at me.
How is the little one going?
Yeah, good.
I've just started carrying a GME AccuSat, which is like a personal beacon. Oh, yeah. So, if you're out in the high country or whatever, you can just flick that on, and if you hurt yourself, that is, or even a mate. If a mate hurts himself and that, you can just flick that on and push that, and then help will come to you straight away.
So I want to know how much
EPIRB.
you're getting charged to use an EPIRB in the high country, because that's chopper.
So for emergency reasons, I don't think you get charged. You only get screwed over if you accidentally pull it or if you dispose it because it's registered to your name. If you throw it in the trash and then a seagull at the tip presses the button or pulls the lever, whatever it is, and it goes off, then you get...
From experience?
No, it's just...
Yeah, that sounds...
Of all things, he picks a seagull at the tip.
What other birds do you see there?
Yeah.
Where are they?
No, but you are right. If say your mate's got a broken leg or an ankle and there's no way he's hiking out 15, 20 Ks in, they're not going to say to you, mate, what are you doing pushing the EPIRB? Should have carried him. Yeah,
I get that, but when you get, say you live rurally and you've got to get an ambulance to you, you end up getting charged.
No, it's free. It's free one way.
No, I had to pay fucking $2,800.
That's why you have ambulance cover. It's a beautiful thing.
No one can afford that these days, mate. Diesel's like $3,000 a litre.
And coffee. Diesel and coffee, mate, the two things that keep us running. Most expensive. What is going on here?
Even the EPIRB's too expensive. I'm too much of a cheap ass.
EPIRB's a good, man. I recommend it. I've had one in my pack for the last 7-8 years, and
have you used
that?
It
Was a caramello.
No, haven't need to.
I don't want to.
I've probably taken it out and put some Skittles in the case.
That's what I think. It's room, you could leave it out of your pack and have room for a comfort item.
They're half the size of an iPhone, man.
Exactly.
They are.
You could leave it out of your pack and take a comfort item, like a hip
Take
flask.
your tampons out your bag and put your EPIRB in, man.
Right, a hip flask. You get a broken leg, have a nip of rum or Jack Daniels, whatever your poison is. You're good to go.
It is a good point, guys. If you haven't got one, you should make a little kit in your backpack, even if it's a bandage. couple of band-aids if you
Some
cut
super
yourself.
glue, some whatever.
super glue,
Long way, yeah.
in case your knife handle falls off something. Even just a couple of spare bullets, and get like a little pouch or something where you can put it all in. So it's just, you know, so you got backup in case something happens. You know, you might shoot all your bullets off and go, I got no bullets left, and you're out in the high country or whatever.
We're not all cowboys, man.
Oh, it depends.
What, you mean like you get stuck?
Yeah, stuck
and
out
you're
there.
and
Yeah,
you got
injure
like another
yourself.
couple of
Yeah,
rounds
that's right.
for some
Yep.
food or something.
Well, you can shoot them off if there's someone nearby or help.
Yeah.
Bang, bang.
Survival blanket, all of
Yeah.
that stuff. It's really
Survival
cool.
Survival.
blanket.
Yeah.
You got a damn sleeping bag in your pack. Just use a damn
Anything
sleeping
can
bag,
happen,
mate.
man. Anything can happen.
It's survival now.
Oh God.
Yeah, you chuck that away and you use your
Yeah,
survival.
you burn your
'Cause you've
sleeping
injured
bag.
yourself now, so you see the summit sleeping bag's no good anymore.
See, the
This
army.
is a crisis mode. Get rid of my tent. Get rid of my sleeping bag. Get your survival sleeping bag
That's
out.
it. Dig your cache out.
Yeah, sleep on your back.
Well, the army ruined it for me for that sort of stuff because there was one person in the section that carried the med kit, and then everyone else was like, "Yeah, cool, sick, we're covered," so I don't have to carry shit.
He got shot 3 days ago. It's all good, man. It's all good. Gee, this is good tonight. Oh, that's the survival kid guy that's carrying the first aid kit.
Where's Jerry? But yeah, I'm doing New Zealand next year for my 30th, and I'm getting one of those Garmin InReaches. So you can use them for pretty much the same thing, but you can also text and I think call as well. So
Yeah, that's what my mate got, but you got to get a subscription for that.
yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you do.
But they're really good. They are very good. And you can send, I think it's like 15 cents or 20 cents a text.
Yeah, it changes each different
Depends on what you do.
situations
Probably
where
get
you
a bad
are.
deal these days. I don't know, but
How much is the InReach?
I think they're about $600. You can get them from Anaconda on special for about $550, I think.
Smoke
but
signals are free,
Yeah.
mate.
Anaconda's $5.43 for one of them.
depends which ones you get. But hey, if it saves your life at the end of the day, especially if you're hunting the mountains in New Zealand, you're not going to send a smoke signal to home.
That's probably a smart choice in New Zealand, but I don't know. I guess because we live on the mainland and you go to like the high country or say New South Wales.
Mainland?
Yeah, the mainland, man. New Zealand's a
Live in
restraint.
Australia, mate.
Man,
New Zealand,
same-
Tasmania,
same.
Kangaroo Island, all
Same,
the,
same.
just
But-
islands off Australia.
But I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think
Correct.
for
Nah.
experienced people like the high country or even New South Wales, like deep scrub. Like, I don't think it's that bad. I think you can get out of a pickle if you put your mind to it. And if
You
you've got experience.
you say that because you haven't been in a pickle. If you were in a pickle, like last time I went to New Zealand, I screwed up my knee. I was probably an hour behind the guy I was hunting with. He went up to the car. I took an hour to get to where he was, climbing up this hill. I was having to lift my leg up over logs, and I was in tears. Like, I just had tears streaming down my face because I was in so much pain. Anything else, if I was further out, I would have been hitting that InReach. Like, I wouldn't have been able to get out. I was nearly done.
I don't know, man. Like Marcus Luttrell was shot twice, fell down a cliff, broke his back, and crawled 15 miles to a near village, where then he was took in by a local.
Children took him
And
in, didn't
then-
they?
The Taliban ended up like running his position. And this dude still survived, man. And he like crawled.
But how many
15
people do you
miles.
know like Marcus True?
Oh man, you just okay. It's a mental aptitude thing, but I think
People
everyone on this
cry
table is-
over pronouns these days,
But I think everyone on this table has a mental aptitude to be like, well, okay, my lower half of my body's fucked. Okay, how do I get home? All right, I crawl.
Yeah, but it depends where you are and what you're doing.
That's
Not
easier
everyone
said
has
than
those
done.
mentality. If you've got an EPIRB and you can press a button and get medevaced out or whatever.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm just being the
Times
devil's advocate.
are just changing. That's what it is as well. If you've got it in your backpack and you can flick it out, flip an aerial up, and push a button. Yes, it's a weaker option, but there's help coming straight away.
And how
You've
much?
got the option to be
Absolutely.
good mate
Yeah.
Marcus, or just have a button you could push. What are you choosing?
Yeah.
Man, seriously, getting back and like telling that story, be like, yeah, bitches.
But then you have to put in the
I had an
recovery
EPIRB
time.
on me, but I chose not to push it. I crawled through sticks and weeds and blackberries, and I got a stag on the way home.
Let's do it. We'll drive Josh out to the high country, take out his knee with the 300, and then give him an EPIRB and just see how long it takes him to.
Yeah.
I thought we were all friends here.
Yeah.
I did the high country once, and it was like bloody. It would have been about 34 degrees. I did 40 k's in the morning, and I had some noon.
Is that 40
clothes on.
k's your steps or?
No, 40 kilometres. But I had like a wool long sleeve on because I'd read about the wicking capabilities and wanted to try it out. I blacked out, man. I got back. I managed to get back to where my tent was, and I've just like knelt on the ground and I blacked out. Woke up and I was like drooling on the ground, like laying there. I'm like, ha. So I just propped myself up, had some water, had a feed.
You didn't take
got back out there.
You didn't take the jumper off. Just
Well,
at no point you thought.
yeah,
What?
I took it off, and I think I switched it out for a singlet because that's all I had, but that's all right. I guess like if you put your mind to it, you can do anything.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying though. You're saying if we had a situation like that where the technology wasn't available, we'll definitely crawl ourselves out.
Yeah, or you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to do it. Like, even Ilias could do it.
I think I'm probably the most likely to do it.
No, it's I get what you mean, and it's probably good to tell a lot of your listeners out there to sort your shit out.
Some people can't find their car at the
Yeah,
car park.
car
It's
Oh,
not
dude.
going to be like an
In
injury
Macca's.
thing. It's just going to be, I'm lost, and the sun is setting, and I'm afraid.
One of my good mates, who's now a high school counsellor, I took him out hunting. We walked about 2 k's straight ahead, no corners, no turns. Walked out, and I've gone, all right, where's the car? And he points straight ahead of us. And I'm like,
That boy was me.
how can the car be in front of us? We've walked a straight line for like 2 k's, and how can it be in front of us? We've only walked a straight line. Like some people just don't have a sense of direction. Some people are just absolutely useless. And you have that military background where you can endure through this shit.
No, I just think it's stupidity, but because like the general consensus on this table is to have some.
Hey, I
safety
never said
equipment.
anything. I'm staying out of this.
But I don't know. I just figure.
Ilias brings out Paw Patrol Band-Aids when he comes hunting.
Do
so.
not. Cocomelon.
Oh god. Anyway, let's get back on the topic.
So, big year. Where did it start for you, Hainesy?
This year actually started in February when I went out with a mate from Spiker and Leroy, and we shot those 2 pre-rubbed out fallow bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a doe.
And a doe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Mel come over, and she shot that chiddle and a young samba. And then we did something too, didn't we?
Was that end of last year you
Hayden
guys shot?
came up that weekend.
Yeah, and Hayden come up as well.
Those 3 bucks that you,
and Caleb.
Shannon and Hayden shot, was that this year or last year?
No, it was this
year too?
Yeah. And then you guys went out not long after that, and you, Hayden, and Jacob, yourself, and Shannon shot one, didn't you?
No, Hayden.
Hayden got
That's
one.
what Zach's referring to. Yeah, that
because
was
you
a
guys
bit
got
of a
3.
trippy thing, man. Like
Yeah.
we did a cohort shoot and managed 3 shooters, and it sounded like one shot, and three dead animals. It was like, okay.
Was that shoot on one or shoot at one? Or
Yeah. Look, I can't. It's that long ago, man, and that much has happened. I can't remember.
It was like last year. To be honest.
it's
does.
ridiculous. April feels like so long ago, and
yeah.
we've still got 6 months to go till April again. You know,
That sucks.
it's depressing.
How long till April?
6 months.
My birthday mate, as well.
It's terrible.
It is. It's a great
At least they're
birthday.
growing. The antlers are growing, mate.
They are. So have you been out recently?
I went last night, actually. I actually did.
Was
I
that where
forgot
you're
about
eating your little hot meal out?
No. I had that. That was down the southeast, just on a mill.
Oh, yeah.
I ate
Nice.
that with Jared and Dan. Actually, that was a pretty cool weekend. Shot a few deer. But I went out last night looking for a deer that a lady wants gone on her property, and there was no deer. Said a no deal, no deer.
Wow.
But no, it was pretty cool. Just get up there and check out the place. It's always nice checking out new area, new spot. And
It is. You've been out spotlighting with Couchy recently?
Yeah. Couchy's got a little place in the hills, and we went out, and we got a little vixen and a dog, so that was all right.
Very nice.
A
very
crow
nice.
and a hare.
nice.
I blooded my dad's 22 actually.
Beautiful.
On the crow.
What'd you rub blood on it?
Yeah.
It's this time of the year is really good for shooting foxes actually because the pups are out, little
Yeah.
puppies. We got a few. We got 5, I reckon, that weekend that I was away, which is a couple weekends ago, and there was pups everywhere. So vixen's out with pups. So if you guys are out spotlighting and whatnot, and you see a heap of red eyes, that could be fox pups with the mum.
Yeah.
So and they're only small at the moment, and that's a good time of year to get them.
This
Very nice.
this was probably the time last year you and I went out and we tried your fox call.
That's
and
right.
we literally put the fox call out and we both sat back.
Yeah.
And we were fud-assing around and you've turned on the call.
I turned it on and
Yeah.
played it, and he goes, "Oh, I'll just have a quick Google to work out what to do with it." And then it was making the noise, and then it sounded muffled. It knocked it over, eh?
Yeah.
Fox
within
ran
like
up.
maybe a minute and a half of sitting down. Like I'd got my
expensive?
phone out and just
Sorry, mate.
Are they expensive, those things?
No, it was like $360.
it's not expensive.
Pocket change.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Dad's got one of those ones that he bought from one of his mates, and it's got a bullet hole in it. So he was out shooting. He's placed the speaker out, and he's gone back. Started playing it. He's sitting there on his phone, and he looks up, and a fox has got it in his mouth. He's shot through the fox into the call.
Oh, you mean the bullet hole came after? Well, would it work with a bullet hole in it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Oh, it does?
It still
Well,
goes.
it's only a little bit of wire with the speaker up the top, and it's mainly body.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so you're only breaking the housing. It'd probably be a little bit like a... it's got a scratch in it.
Yeah, copyright that sound. make more calls.
But no, what was that one? That was the OSA Australia sell them and that, but it was the Predator call on it, like a...
Primo or something? I can't remember, man. Was that long?
Yeah, I
ago?
can't remember.
There's heaps of them. There's Fox Pros. There's Primos. There's
Oh, it might have been a Fox Pro.
Fox Pro.
Yeah, I think
it was really good. But I lent that to a mate of mine and I haven't got it back. That's how good it is.
bastard.
Absolutely loves it. So, but yeah, no, shoot.
Borrowing stuff off.
I lent that back in March, I reckon. But no, you get a lot of foxes off them.
What's your
I've seen
favourite call? Sorry.
No, I just sort of seen them around a bit.
What's your favourite call for foxes?
I've got these. They're like little. They look like a. It makes. You know how you get the old gum leaf back in the day, and you make that type noise with the gum leaf. But this here is a little plastic thing, which is yay big, about 100 mil long. 2 pieces of plastic with a bit of metal through the middle of it. You bite it with your teeth and blow, and it's the best fox whistle. I don't get them off eBay. I can't remember what they're called, but
I know the ones. They're like
Yeah.
almost like a pencil shape. They're not
Yep.
that wide.
Yeah.
Long. Yeah.
yep, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the most successful fox whistle I've used.
Really?
Yep, by a long shot.
I enjoy the down under Predator calls. They're pretty good. They come up. They've got a bunch of 3D printed ones. They've got all sorts, and their squeakers my favourite.
What was the
Down under Predator calls.
down under?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy in WA, brilliant stuff, and he's just done like a big stainless steel call. It sounds incredible.
That's the little orange one you had when we went, was it?
Yeah. I've got
Even the flex marks work
Yeah,
right too.
they work very well. Yeah, it's a deer call, but it works amazingly for fox. That's how we called the foxes up the other weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a few little bleats.
Just different. Just a different noise with a bit of a pitch.
Yeah.
Come bolting in. Even if you haven't got a whistle, you just go.
Suck your thumb.
Thumb and your finger,
Yeah, just suck in. I've been out with old school guys and that, and they've got a piece of styrofoam and they rub it on the inside of the glass on the window on the door.
I saw a video
They
of some
bolt
guy doing
in, man.
that.
They
He was rolling
bolt
it on
in,
his phone.
which is very similar to that noise I just made with my lips. All that is put your lips together and breathe in.
I'm going to use that style.
Yeah, wow. That's
Try
cool.
it, man. Guarantee it. Try it, and they do come in, eh? Turn your car off, sit there, come running in.
I'm going to do that because I've found personally with fox hunting, like you got to change up your calls.
Yep.
Especially if you're smashing an area. Like when I was young, I used to use the Scotch Guard Predator call a lot, which looks like a big
donkey dick.
And it worked. It worked for
That was
like quite a
playtime.
few years. And then it just stopped working, and I was like, what the hell? And I went and bought a Primo double reed.
Double gawk.
Yeah. Cool. And like just that slight change in sound,
Yep.
like made them froth.
It pays to carry a couple of different, because if you use one particular one on a property too much, they get used to it. So you change it up, and it's just something different for them.
Yeah.
So we've got to become like the duck hunters in the States here.
Yeah,
They've
just
got,
a
like, their
lanyard.
lanyard full of duck calls. We should just make it in Australia.
I think I've got about 3 or 4 fox calls in my bino harness.
Get one of those fishing like lure vests, but have fox calls on.
In a hat.
Yeah, in a hat. Yeah, with corks. Instead of corks, you can just spin your hat and grab a whistle.
So,
$100
a
idea.
year of firsts. This is the first year of the podcast.
Yeah.
I took my first red stag.
Well
Josh
done,
took
mate.
his first red stag.
Yeah, man. The video was so good. I was like,
Oh, Josh's video was
yeah.
That was
insane.
insane, man. That I will never forget that.
I wasn't even there, and I won't forget it.
That there was probably the highlight of the whole year, I reckon, that one.
Yeah. Just the way everything unfolded, I was like, I feel like I'm on a movie set and this is all scripted.
How
Yeah, but
well?
what about we had 2 hunts on that same deer over that previous week. So I remember the first morning we went out, we were a bit late, but it was foggy.
Yeah.
And we were like, I said to him, don't be disappointed because we're a bit late, and that because we had a bit of a successful hunt the afternoon before, and it put us into the night later. And then we got out there, and parked on the hill where we normally park, and we're punching down the fence line and that. And I said, pull up, hear that, and it was on the loose, but it was still a fair way away from the scrub where they were taking cover. And I said to Josh, I said, hang on a minute, because I heard him roar again, and it sounded like he was getting further away, even though we were gaining distance towards him, and it went the other way, didn't it?
Yeah. There was definitely 2.
Yeah, it was 2 deer, like 2 stags roaring, but they both took a different line to a different patch of bush on the property. So we've basically gone the way where I thought he was going to go, the first one, but he smarted us and went the other way. And then it was about 3 or 4 days later, and this was after I took Judd there. And we seen a couple of deer. Like one was a nice 12 that jumped into the scrub and took off in front of us, and then the other one was an 8 point, I reckon. And didn't see that one. And then I reckon you came back after going home, and then we went out and he went behind us.
Yeah.
He went up, he cut behind us because we heard him roaring and that. We've gone past. I said, look, if we come down here, I reckon he's going to take this same channel, because I was hugging a stringy bark tree and had the Haines and all that come to within 5 metres of me the day before.
Yeah.
And that was unbelievable. And I said, this is the path I reckon they're going to take. But that morning when we got out there, the day that you got him, like we ran K.5. Because I said, if they're going that way again, they're going hard, because it was a clear morning. So we ran there, hit the fence line, and then I put my head up and to get my hearing as best as I could to hear, and I heard him roar, but he was distant still, so I knew he hadn't cut us off. He was in line with where we were, and then I said, look, we'll come up over this hill here and we'll just get into position and get ready. And, yeah, we got up over that little lip there. I binoed up, spotted the Hines coming in.
Yeah.
I said to Josh, I said, mate, she's all about to unfold. And we sat there next to that yucca bush in the tree. And sure enough, what was it, about 12 Hines walked towards us. And I'm like, he hasn't even jumped into our paddock yet, man. Like, he's still over there and he's roaring and carrying on.
Yeah.
And then those Hines come in like 25 metres of us in front of us, as you can see in that video clip. And then he's like jumped the fence and run over towards us and then pulls up, gives a bit of a roar. And I'm like, I hope he can hold himself together here because I'm holding the camera. It was pretty epic. And then, he walked over, gave a bit of a doe, Blake, and then I gave a little nerd. And then he kind of didn't really stop though, did he?
Nah.
Because he knew his girls are gone and there's other deer in the area. So and then you went, boom!
Yeah.
Nailed him. And
I was like, because I was waiting for that broadside shot.
Yep.
And he just wasn't stopping. And then when he bailed up to your bleat, he's face on. And I'm like,
Send it.
like, that's it. 70 metres, I'm like,
Yeah.
168 grain, like, it'll be fine.
yeah, I sent every mental power in my brain to Josh to say, pull the trigger. So I couldn't talk.
Shoot him, Jacob.
And then when he went boom, and I was like, beauty. And then I saw how the deer reacted. I've shot a few deer, and that I knew that he was stuffed, but I didn't know where
How
he was
quick
gonna
he'll pull
go
up.
or how far. And then when he's running towards us, I'm like ready to push the ejecto button or what. I don't know what to do. And then I was just like holding the bit. I was like, you know what? If he runs through me, he's going to hold the camera.
That's fart.
It would have made some sick footage if it ran through
This
you.
is happening. I'm not moving.
Yeah.
And
How
I'm
many times
like,
have you watched it now?
Hey?
How many times have you rewatched it?
Oh, probably 1,000.
yeah.
I think I watched it 1,000 times in that first day it was posted because I was getting keen for my red deer hunt. And I've just said, because who was the first guy you took out for the red?
That was Judd.
It was Judd, and then Josh.
Yeah, Josh, yeah.
So seeing these, and I'm just like, oh, come on, save some deer for me. And you're ringing me up. You're like, there's plenty around. It's going to be good. And you post that up. I'm like, just watching. I'm showing everyone at work. I'm like, oh, watch this. This is where I'm going. How sick's this? You know?
It was unbelievable. Martin should have been there on that hunt, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because that was the weekend that he nearly died, remember?
Oh,
As
yeah.
well.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah.
In amongst all the mayhem, he's in hospital, and I sent him that.
And still dropping deer
I
down.
thought he was dead because you sent me that something had happened to Martin because we met him around about the same time.
Yeah.
And then I messaged you when I got home. I was like, is everything all right? And you must have been just spent. You just like, I'll talk to you later. I was like, oh no, he's taking it real hard. He's died.
No, it was a big day, mate, because like I said, like that morning we went out for that hunt and trying to get him in on a deer with a bow. And then he was practically bleeding out. And then the rush, I was all flying to the hospital, 170 in my Hilux, and got him there. And they made him do a COVID test before we went in, even though his nose was pouring out blood.
Sat him down, made him wait 15 minutes.
Made him 18 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. And then did the COVID test.
That's ridiculous.
That's unreal.
We'll just push past the blood clot so they're coming out your
Mate,
nose.
the hospital doors weren't even open. Well, they wouldn't open, but they'd close off lock the doors or whatever.
Bling, 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 bling.
Yeah.
I ended up going banging on the door, and they came out and tested him all up. But yeah. If you're listening, Martin, you're a lucky man.
I was like heaps concerned when we went back to Pete's place because we were digging out that pit. And he was like already coughing, and I thought,
Yeah, he
don't
gets
even
that cough
stand
going.
anywhere near me when I'm like, just get out of the way. I'll dig this whole thing out because I don't want you to start bleeding out again. I was really like, any minute this dude's just going to start spluttering, you know? What am I going to do?
Fall on the ground and fit like a jellyfish. No, he's I think he knows what to do now and manage it. But
Yeah.
It just shows how well you know your properties when it comes to deer hunting, that you're able to put Judd on an awesome stalk and get him on. You're able to put Josh on an awesome stalk and get him on. You're able to put me on an awesome stalk. Like, that was an epic hunt. It was a great morning. We've
that
gone
actually
over it.
pulled off. That was one hunt where it could have went left or right.
Yeah.
That was like, we were like, the wind's going that way, it's going this
You
way.
were glassing for a stag in the distance, and then I'm just like,
around.
Josh, stag. I've just dropped to a knee and just dropped the bolt and bang.
How far?
About 80, 85 metres.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I was
It's a good
going to
video,
say
have you
100
seen it?
metres, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's-
haven't.
you,
Yeah.
you've seen it.
It takes like 10 steps and then just flops over.
No, I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
it's good. Great.
I'll find it and chuck it on. But yeah, it just shows how you're like, we're going here. There's been this stag in this area. You pretty much take your pick of either one we get onto first. If you want to shoot it, shoot it. If you don't, just
Yeah. Never force anyone to shoot an animal they don't want to shoot, and I don't care what you shoot as long as you're happy when you take it, like I always say to everyone.
Caleb's a prime example of that.
Mate, he actually gave me, because I didn't carry a gun that morning because I wasn't too fussed about who's shooting what, so I never am. But I said to him, if we see a deer this morning, even if it was that big kahuna, which it was a big kahuna, you're taking it down. He pushed a gun to me and I said, mate, no, you've worked for that deer, man.
So press play on that. So you'll hear. Oh, the listeners will hear the sound of it anyway.
I was so devastated because you'd said to me a few times, come up, and I had to work through. The only day I could
you
get
did.
there, you guys were coming back, and I keep seeing all these videos come up. I just crying.
That's gold.
It was so good. But yeah, it's just how well Hainesy knows these properties, the time that he puts into it, and then just the time that he puts back into it, taking guys out to get their first buck, their first of a species. It's just incredible, dude.
No, it's much
Like
appreciated,
it's
mate.
Yeah, definitely.
I get a lot of enjoyment out of helping mates and that get onto whether it's a first deer or even just a trophy or whatever, or even just an animal. But like I've said before in a previous podcast, is learn your property. That's the biggest incentive. What's the word I'm trying to look for? You're going to get ahead of the deer. So yeah, if you learn your properties, you're gonna be one step in front of the deer that you're trying to hunt, because you'll be able to predict where they're going and whatnot as well, and where they're feeding. Like learn your feeds as well, like what times of the year, because summer's different to winter. And coming out of summer with those first few rains, you're gonna get that green pick. The deer are gonna chase that prime green pick and stuff like that. And then when the feed dries out as well from a winter growth, then there's a certain time where it's good with the value in the dry feed. And then if you get a few rains on that dry feed, then the value comes out of it. So they go looking for a bit of bush, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's knowing your property, and then there's knowing your properties. Like, I know where the deer will be on my properties, but it's not like how you know your properties. Like, my properties are tiny compared to the places that you hunt, and being able to know that, especially down the southeast, you'll be like, there'll be reds here, there'll be fallow here, there'll be probably rooster here, there could be chittle here, and then you'll be like, we're driving along and you'll be like, there'll be deer down in this valley here because there's a green spot, and it's 11 o'clock in the day, and you drive past and there's a young buck just in the middle of the paddock, no bush around, just feeding. Like, he can call everywhere where there's a deer going to be.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
it's
definitely got to learn your spots.
Yeah. Yeah. That place, though, is definitely a mecca.
yeah, I was.
It is a mecca.
What a boner going in and a boner going out. Man.
It's ruined deer hunting for me, so I expect every hunt to be.
No, it is good, and you just appreciate every moment you get, even with what you got. If you got somewhere to access, there's a little gem.
Yeah.
Like, it's so nice just to have somewhere to go, catch up with the owner if you don't know him. If you already do know him, you can catch up with them, say g'day, go out for a walk. If you come out with a deer, it's a bonus. If you don't come out with a deer, what an afternoon! Like, it's perfect,
Yeah.
So, how many days in April did you end up spending down there? Because your family got COVID, so you stayed down there even longer than you were.
Yeah, that was an extra 12 days on. So I reckon it was about nearly 28 days out of the month.
That's insane.
Yeah, plus 2 weeks in March.
That's nuts.
So I had a fair bit of time down there.
So you got a few people on their first reds, their first fallow. Early what? When did Mel get onto a chittle? That was what, Feb, or was
I
that?
reckon that might have been either late Feb or early March
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, yep. No, she was stoked about that, that was a pretty cool hunt, especially because she took a sambar first.
Yeah, that's.
And then shot the chittle.
There's not many places where you can shoot a sambar, a chittle, a red, a rooster in the same area. Like it's.
That's right. No, it's a good spot.
Having said that, though, I have recently seen a few sambar kicking around certain places of South Australia. Like more than what I expected.
Very nice.
Way more. Like they're not, the growth is not the same as what you see in Vic.
Yeah.
Still a sambar.
Still sambar.
Yep.
They're a cool animal, man. Very cool.
Even the way a rooster and a sambar behave is chalk and cheese different to a fallow and a red, because fallow and red, as soon as that sun's up and they're starting to feel threatened, they're in the bush, man.
Yep.
If there's a little bit of like lantana or long grass around or whatever, and a nice sunny afternoon, the sambar and the rooster are out on the flat feeding. Like, they're not going far and they're feeling cool. So, yeah, they just go out there in the middle of the day and have fun. So,
I learned something this year with you, actually. You're talking about like pick at certain times of the year. You and I were hunting, of all places, a swamp. My God, man. The amount of deer on that pick coming through.
that's right.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I said to you, we're going to hunt the water course. And you looked at me and I said, there's going to be, could be a bit of action down there. Sorry, we were just coming into, that was like midwinter, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
yeah, so it was like a few good showers of rain in the southeast, which makes like the swampy flats and that get a bit of value in like it's not a grass as such, but it's more like what would you call a cactus plant? Acidic or it's kind of hollow, but it's not a grass, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a little, it only
Clover,
grows
maybe?
really short. No, it wasn't clover. It's like marsh stuff, but anyway, there's certain times of year where the deer, they'll eat that, and it's not for a long period. And I said to Josh, we'll go down the watercourse, man, we'll have a hunt. And he's like, oh, yeah, no worries, as we do. But when we got down there and we come cruising through, I put my binos up when we got to this certain spot, and I looked at Josh, but he already had his binos up, and then he put his binos down and he looked at me and he was like, what the heck is going on here? It was like there was an interview letter sent out to the deer, all meet here, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, dead set. You know how you hear stories of people, there's like 60 deer or whatever in this, like dead set. It was just, we sort of first saw like one mob, and then we sort of came around the corner of this tea tree, and then there was just a plethora. It was literally like 60 deer.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It was pretty. It was beautiful to watch, actually.
Yeah.
It's great.
Young ones, big ones, actually a couple of nice fallow bucks too.
There were.
And then you get like your young spikers and that, and your yearlings, which are playful animals, and they were jumping around doing their thing as well. And we had probably a good half an hour of that time to watch them.
Yeah.
Before we upset that day.
Yeah.
How cool is it watching young deer play?
Yeah.
A couple of times I've gone out with Ilias. The first time I took him out and we seen deer, they were swimming and playing like dogs. They were doing like fast laps around this dam, and just two of them, they'd run separate ways each, and they'd meet each other, then turn around, run back, and just run
Just
around.
turn it up. Yeah. It was amazing, man.
And like middle winter cold, and they're just chest deep in water, and they're splashing each other and headbutting each other, and just crazy stuff. It's so cool.
Sunny mid-morning on the deer in winter is a good time for them to be doing that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. Sunday mid-morning.
Yeah, you think you need to get out of bed early, run over the hills and all that and whatnot? Nah, they're waiting for that sun to come up, and they'll probably pop out of a couple of trees and just play and have a bit of a feed because the sun's out. They're trying to capture that warm before they do go back to the bush.
Yep.
That's what it tends to be as well. But yeah, I had a somewhat successful rut. I took that red stag with you. Then
Cracking shot too.
Then I took a young fallow buck by myself. Then I took my stepson out, and we took a one-antlered fallow buck. Then I took Ilias out, and we got him onto his first deer. So briefly run over that. We haven't spoke about that on the podcast yet, mate.
Oh, well, get out at crack of dawn like we always do. Get out there and
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
we went up to the different side of the property than usual. Because the other side we sort of try to bow hunt. Try to.
That is where I shot the first fallow buck for the year with the rifle in there.
But I was just way more open. So, we get up, we potter around for a little bit. We start to see a couple of deer and we thought.
This is late April, around the 22nd-ish.
Like the earliest I could get out.
Yeah.
I was so busy with work and whatnot. But, we thought, well, that's going to be our best bet. So let's get after them. And, we get to where they were moving to and they were there. And I was like, this is going to be great. Sort of set up behind a log. And because I'm obviously 9 foot tall, I was just swallowed by the grass. I tried to get into position to shoot. I couldn't even see the deer. I was just completely swallowed. So, I start to feel like, oh no, I'm not going to get these deer. There's no way that I'm going to shoot one of these things.
I'm like, leave the stuff here. We backtracked, so we went backwards rather than going forward.
Like all the way back down.
Gone down into a gully,
Into the gully and then back up the other side, and we just caught them. Like they were feeding in that direction anyway.
We ended up about 100 metres closer.
Yeah.
So that was good.
It was good, and then there was a couple of them like standing and playing, and one was just feeding under a tree, and I thought, that's the one.
240 yards.
Yeah, and I took the shot and just did a little jump, and then walked slowly down the hill, and she was done. And I said to Zach, like, he's like, congratulations, because he's shot a lot of deer and whatnot, and he goes, no, I know the body language, that deer is done. I was still thinking like, I'm not going to celebrate till I know.
He thought he missed at first.
I didn't think I missed. I thought maybe maybe it was a bad shot, or and I wasn't going to be happy until I'd confirmed that it was.
I'm like, she's gone less than 60, 70 meters. Like she's in that gully dead, and he's like, oh no, I just don't know. We've walked over there, and it's just blood everywhere.
Yeah,
like it just.
What caliber?
My 300.
Oh right.
Yeah. So just.
And then actually before we went over there, those other 3 deer were like sort of looking down into the valley.
That's right.
Like looking at her, and I think you said, go grab your bow. So I just sprinted back, got the longbow, and then tried to get into a good position to shoot, but, too spooked and too fast. So
we went on an earlier hunt with the bow at one of my other smaller properties, and you got on within like 10, 15 metres of that spiker. It was just behind the bushes, and you couldn't shoot.
It was like
you had to stare
big
off.
Scrub, like that place at Pete's, I couldn't even move my longbow. It was just too much bow and not enough room.
Story of a bow hunter's life, mate.
Yeah.
So you had a couple of them. I'm like, just put the bow down. Let's just go get you your first deer.
That day I was like, I'm coming home with a deer. I don't care if I got to wrestle it. I don't care if I got to shoot it with a rifle. I'm taking something. My wife's starting to get real suspicious of all these. I'm not bringing anything home.
All these away trips with guys in the bush,
But, we went down and saw the deer, and she was dead. So that was good. And we dragged her to the shade and sort of settled down a little bit, and I was just soaking it all in.
Yeah. Special moment taking your first too.
We were sitting there, and I just started to hear this thundering, and I was like, "That's hoof." And I said, "Zach, get ready." And he's like, "What?" I said, "There's a buck coming." And he's like, "No." I said, "Doe," because Doe just sprinted like across that same tree that we were just in. I said, "No, there's a buck. There's a buck coming. Just a unicorn." Again, one coming down, and he runs down the valley, and then comes up to that tree where I shot my deer.
And just stops.
He stopped for a minute because Zach let a little bleep, and he
Met,
and he sort of looks around, and I had like
fox whistle.
No, I had a fallow call in my bino harness, and I just let out like a fairly deep one, just croak, and he stopped and he just looked straight at us like pissed off. And then Zach just dropped him on the spot.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it was something I'm going to remember.
Was that a long shot or was that a bit closer?
That was a bit closer. That was about 180.
Okay.
Because we moved the meat into the shades so we could take it all in and take photos, and we were just talking.
I remember the picture, good pictures.
Yeah, it was unreal, man. Like, same tree, and the way everything just unfolded, like you said, it was like a movie. You know?
Yeah.
So his bullet was in the tree, and then mine was in the tree above it.
Yeah.
Like there was like 30 centimeters difference in where the bullets passed
So it
through the
literally
deer.
stopped right where you shot that doe in that video.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it was unreal, man. It was just the whole thing was just.
So we dragged that back to the shade, and we were just sitting there in awe, like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And
Bloody hell.
put the deer together,
That's
took some
pretty cool,
photos.
man.
Not bad for a
Projectile
trad
in the
hunter.
trees.
That's it.
Tree's dead now, guys.
But yeah, we hung them up. We left them there, went and got the car,
Yeah.
hung them up, butchered them, got a fire going,
Ate
cooked some
right on the spot.
backstrap,
Yeah, it was good. It was a great day, man.
How'd you cook the
some
backstrap?
tenderloin. Just as Ilias mentioned earlier, I carry everything.
But
He actually did. He had bark, and he was marinating it in this piece of bark.
I did bit of oil on this bark, mixed it up with some spices, and then we thread it on a stick. Thread it on a stick and put it over the
was
fire
good,
and cooked it
man.
on.
Oh,
This thing was like 90% Chipotle spice mix. So it could not be good. That was cooked on the fire.
There was some
so-
salt and pepper in there too.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good.
can't be as good as what we did, though. We found the best part of an animal you could eat.
Oh,
Yeah.
the eyeballs behind the eyeballs there.
It was stunning. Thank you very much, Steve Ranella. Jeez, man.
Me and Josh
Raw
were
dough.
like
Yeah?
hacking into this. Well, he was hacking into this thing. He's like, I'm like, yeah, we're going to do that. That sounds killer.
Is it really the meat behind the eyeball? Is that what you said?
Oh,
Yeah, the bit of fat
Yeah.
behind the eyeball tastes like
There's a little bit
raw
of meat there on the fallow as
bread
well.
dough. Yeah.
A little bit. But yeah, cut it out. And because I remember looking at you, Josh, and I was like, oh, do you want to give it a go? He's like, yeah, why not?
Do you cook it up or you just...
Yeah,
go for
Nah,
it?
raw.
Yeah.
Straight on the swing on.
Yep.
You need to eat that bit of fat raw. That's where it tastes like cookie dough,
Man.
bread dough.
Didn't look like cookie dough.
Yeah, it didn't. It looked more meaty, actually, than dough. But there was a little bit of sticky fat on there. But I remember, did you have some first or did I? I think you did. Or your brother might
did
have.
No, did you?
Because your brother just looked at I remember like your brother looking at me going, what the fuck is this?
Speaking of your brother, what the fuck moments when you guys left me. You had the gate.
I don't even want to ask.
It was a cracker, man.
Because
I'll
I
let you
pissed like
tell
because I'm always stopping to piss. Like,
The car did like 40 metres. 40 metres.
yeah, exactly.
Nah,
I've got a bladder of a woman, but yeah, we pulled up to this gate and
Cancelled?
the,
No, you're something else, man. We stop constantly.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just so...
I just like the fresh air, man.
He was trying to break the he's trying to break the South Australian drought.
I have this year.
Oh yeah.
Put enough moisture back into the air. I've broken
Nah,
it in
this is a
Queensland
funny
and New
story.
South.
This is pretty funny because we honestly thought he got in the car. You got to tell.
Yeah, I got out to take a pee. They got out to open
No,
the
you
gate.
got the gate.
I got the gate.
We
Yeah.
drove up and thought that he had like because he took more than 5 minutes. We thought he got in. So
It
we
wasn't
took off.
5 minutes. It was like 2 minutes.
Come
I've
on,
opened the
I need
gate.
the
They've
story.
drove through. I've shut the gate. I've just taken a piss, and then I've turned around, and the car's halfway down the paddock. And I'm like, okay, they'll be back in a minute. So I just started
The
walking.
headlights disappearing over the ridge line.
It was the middle of the day.
Yeah, middle of the day, blaring music. Doof doof.
Yeah, and Josh is a techno dance music
Yeah, I love
fan.
it.
Like
I love my
I did
electronic
not
dance.
pick
I
it.
was real surprised, actually.
Yeah, so
His alehouse and you're tearing up traffic in this bloody...
doof, 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 and
Yeah.
he's out the window, like, and I'm just watching this car disappear. It goes over a ridge and then disappears and then goes up another ridge and disappears. I'm like, they'll realise soon. And Josh said something to Jordan, and then Jordan goes to say something to me in the back seat, and he goes, Josh, your mate's not in the car. He's like, what do you mean? He's just, hang on, where the fuck's my mate gone?
See, I want to know if that was a stitch up. Is that a stitch up?
Sounds
No.
like a stitch up.
Mate, I honestly like
When Josh has got his music on,
I could not
that's-
believe it. We were like, oh no, we were like freaking out.
Have you ever seen those videos where like mums leave their kids
Yeah.
in the little carry capsule like at the supermarket? That's what happened to you.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just standing there like,
me and-
they'll
me
realise
and
5
Jordan.
and then I just hear the car like turn around and I just see it coming back. and they're both pissing
We were
themselves
crying. I was
laughing.
crying, man.
They're like,
I had
they're like,
you know, you get those really hard stitch things when you're laughing too hard. Me and him both had that.
but Jordan, he just did not stop apologising. He's like, he felt so bad. He's like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm like, man, that's the funniest shit that's ever happened.
It was hilarious. So funny.
The stories you get out hunting is just, it's great.
It's living, man.
So yeah, we've gone from you getting your first deer to then Hainesy taking you out a few months later for your first buck.
Yeah, it's been a good success rate this year because I've barely been out hunting at all.
No, it was great to get you out, man. And that because you put in a lot of effort as well, and you're passionate, which I do love a passionate hunter.
Yeah,
like
I love it, man.
Not only do you practice at home, running on a treadmill, you know, shooting. I don't know how far that target is in your backyard at home. Every minute you get, even when you are asleep, you probably sleepwalk doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's from his bed just launching arrows.
Yeah. He's probably you're probably the most famous. What do you call it? Recurve, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, I shoot recurve,
Trad bow, whatever shooter in Australia.
He loves just a good bit of wood in his hand.
He loves wood.
I love it.
You're always slinging wood around.
That's what they say.
But no, to take him out and whatnot and try and get him a deer. And that morning, there was just no chance. They were out in that crop and they were staying there, eh?
Yeah, you looked at me like, I'm not going to pressure him. I was like, give me the gun.
Didn't have to beg him. I'd carried that as an option.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to shoot one. I didn't need to shoot one that morning. And I said to him, look, mate, if we can't get any closer, didn't even get it out. And he's like, already had the gun on his shoulder.
Cocked. He's just dropped the bolt like, let's go.
But
why is he
the
naked?
challenge was... the challenge of that was, though, even though you swapped the bow for a gun, we still had to go through an open paddock.
Yeah.
Over a mound, like through a flat, over a little mound, then over a hill, into another scrub, and then up that scrub line, and they were still out of sight. We're like...
It was like, if we back up a bit, like we saw them,
yeah,
and they were like obviously way out of range, and we didn't know what they were going to do because they were just sort of standing around feeding a little bit. So it was like a fairly lengthy discussion, like, oh, you know, what should we do? Should we try and follow this scrub around, get around the other side, come up on the other side of them? Oh, the wind's going good this way. Maybe we should just wait. And that's what we sort of decided as they started to come up the hill, like towards the ridge.
Yeah.
And we decided, okay, what we'll do is we'll wait for them to disappear on the other side of the ridge, and then we'll get after them. You know,
that's right.
Blocked by the
and that was probably a
hill.
good 40 minutes.
But they were just coming down and then going up almost to the top and then coming back down again. And this happened.
Teasing you.
Oh, I was like, this is not going to happen. Same thing. Like, this is not going to happen today.
He went from full excitement to doubt to hang on. They're going, oh, they're coming back down again.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going over. Oh, they're coming back down again.
You said to me at one stage, like, what you do is you're just going to crawl in like 300 yards or whatever and just,
yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to be able to see because the grass was like my chest height, his knee height. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to shoot something in a prone position.
Yeah.
You know, from if I crawl in, I'm just not going to be able to do it. So they just disappear, and then like we just legged it. You know?
Yeah, it went across there pretty quick.
We got to like halfway to that first little watering hole.
Yeah.
And I was like, drop my bow, drop my quiver,
dropped his bow and quiver and
find
stuff.
the flag.
Yeah,
So I could find it again.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go, man. Then we pushed up and around the scrub, and we got to the other side of that ridge, and they were gone. And I was
That's
like,
right. Just they were not there.
And I think the deer are like, they're just there 1 minute, and then something happens, and they just disappear into the floor. You know, they're just completely gone. So that's what I thought had happened. And you said, we'll try and get on the other side of them, go through the scrub, and just follow that in. And I did that. You know, we all went through there, and you were like trying to snap sticks off and things, saying, "Oh, you know, use this to help you shoot and whatnot." I was like, "That's
just
really
as like a
almost
shooting
like
stick type thing."
Too much. For
Yeah,
me
just because the height of the crop was too high, so couldn't lay down and use a bipod. We didn't know how far the shot was going to be. It was just an option. So you know, if you're ever out there, you don't and you think, oh, you know, I need to push into a crop or a scrub or whatever, like high grass to get a shot done. Just grab a bit of Mother Nature and snap her into gear and get it in the right shape and use that. Even a yakka.
It was just too much for me to juggle.
Didn't have to though. You just ditched the stick, held her up straight, and dropped him.
Yeah, well,
It's a cool video.
You said, oh, there's a little hole in the fence here, duck under,
Yeah.
see if you can see him. And as soon as I got up there, started to see the spikers sort of just popping their head over the side, over the top of the ridge, and I thought, oh, they're here. I don't want to shoot one out.
Yeah.
But I thought, where's that buck? Was the only one we saw with the antlers, and I just thought I'd just wait for a minute and get comfortable. At first, I tried to lay prone, but like I said,
No chance.
I couldn't see anything. So I ended up sitting on the heel of my other foot. I put my butt on that and then propping one leg up, balancing the rifle on my knee, and then just looking through the scope, and he just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, it come up. That was good to watch, man. I snuck up behind him without telling him because I didn't want to put him off his. Didn't want to make him feel any pressure than what was already on him. So I just snuck up behind him and got in position with the camera and filmed it all for him.
Yeah. And he kept moving too, and I was thinking, just stop, please.
Yeah.
Just stop for 1 second. And if you watch that video, he stops, puts his head down to feed, so he completely can't see a thing.
Bang.
He flicks his tail once, and I was like, "Nah, you're done."
Don't flick your tail up at me, mate.
And,
That's because of the F-18 Hornet mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Oh man, those photos you see all these black
unreal,
dots above.
it looked like
Ilias's
choppers in the
head.
distance.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's full
Just
on.
Black
But he
Hawks.
sort of ran downhill for 2 steps and then circled back another 3 steps and then just fell over.
Yeah, good. It was a great shot.
So what about us? Someone that shoots trad bow pretty much every day, hasn't had too much experience with rifles.
right.
His first 2 deer he's taken out with 300 Win Mags that he's never shot before, and just handled it like an absolute champ.
How much rifle experience did you have?
I probably shot a rifle 5 times maybe.
Bloody hell.
He had a cap gun and a Nerf gun before this.
I got a couple of mates that live up in Harrogate, and they we do a little bit of sheep shooting out there, but I tend to take my bow for that. I shot a sheep with a
Feral sheep, this
feral
is.
sheep,
Yeah.
223 there, maybe 2 years ago, and then that was the last time I touched a gun before I went out with you, and I hadn't touched one in between going with you, so yeah,
So hang on, you've got your license now?
yeah. No, I've had my license for ages.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Bloody hell.
I just
Do you
like my
wanna-
trad bows, man.
Do you want to tell us what happened a couple of days ago?
Oh yeah, well, I've said to obviously they've got this ban thing that's coming through for bow hunting, so that's got me. I don't want to miss out on hunting because I can't do it the way that I have been doing it. So I was tossing up between going for a.
Musket.
Well, I said, can you go buy a
flintlock.
flintlocks here? Because I'd be all about that.
Josh's face right now.
Keen.
Look, I'd do it, but
Hell yeah, you
after
do
I've
it.
had years of experience with a rifle and
I've
some
gone from
success.
no hunting experience to bow hunting straight away, and then after I killed a few animals with the bow, I straight to trad.
Yeah.
Don't forget, this is a guy that's gone from being a vegan and hating life because of it to getting into archery and bow hunting, taking a few animals, and then this proposed bow hunting ban has just absolutely rattled
I'm
him.
having
His
an existential crisis over here.
That rates a whole heap of questions, man. Well, we're just going to bank up some questions here in the in the bank. One, you're a vegan, and now you're a meat eater and a hunter.
Okay, so my wife, when she was my girlfriend, we'd been living together for a while, and she said to me, I think I want to be a vegetarian. And I was like, oh, what? Because she was this stage in our lives, she was watching a lot of documentaries and things. So she'd watched one of these things, and these ones that are put out by PETA and animal welfare people. And she said, I want to do that. And I said, all right, well, I don't like to be dogmatic about things. So if I haven't done something, how can I be certain, that it's not the right way or the way to do things? So I thought, yeah, I will be vegetarian. And I was vegetarian for a week. And I was like, no, I've got to go full vegan. And we lived like that for ages, just eating plants and beans and supplements and various other things. And
lawn clippings.
I got really into it, really, really into it. I got sucked right down the rabbit hole, and again, not wanting to be dogmatic about things, I started to think, hang on, all these vegetables are coming from somewhere. Obviously, they're clearing crops and just killing everything that's on that land. It seems like it's just as much death, if not more. And then I met a hunter through work, and he changed my whole perspective on hunting. You know, he'd been hunting since he was 6. He said to me, like, you got to imagine these animals that you see in these documentaries where they put into trucks and things and, you know, transported around the country. You know, they're living a very stressful life all the way up to their death, you know, especially the last few days where they're being transported and taken to the slaughterhouses and whatnot. He goes, when I go out hunting, the animal doesn't even know I'm there. He's just having a great day. He's eating, he's sleeping, he's doing whatever he needs to do. And then I shoot him and he dies. Like, it's the most peaceful way to go. Because if I was an animal, I would rather die being shot by a hunter than have to go through the whole process of, you know, factory farming and whatnot. And
you imagine being chased by a chopper and then shot through the back?
Well, that's another thing, the culling and things like that as well. But I didn't even know about that stuff at that stage because no one I knew growing up hunted. Like, nobody.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the modern world is you just, people's fathers and grandfathers and things don't do it, you know. So
Yeah.
Did your missus bridge across to meat?
oh yeah, she came straight across with me.
She did.
Yeah, I came home like that day and I was like, I'm going back to eating meat. And she's like, oh,
Thank fuck. I've been waiting for this.
She was like, well, tell me why. And we had a long discussion about it. And I said, I'm going to start hunting too. And she's
Nice.
like, well, how you gonna do that? And I said, I'm going to find a way. And I just been
Found us too.
persistent. Yeah, well, I've been super persistent ever since, you know.
Yeah.
I actually found him. I've seen these videos of him running on the treadmill.
West Lakes shooting carp.
No, I got him onto bow hunting. He was bow fishing. He was pretty he's like, who wants to shoot fish with a bow? That just sounds boring. Like, it does not sound fun. I'm just like, dude, just trust me. Just come out with me, and you're gonna have a hell of a time. And yeah, since then that's been his main obsession.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to go back to your question. So, you were saying, like, making the leap back. You know, my wife, she came across with me too. And then at the start, you know, I showed her some hunting videos, even before I hunted. And she was a bit like, oh, that's a bit sad. And we talked about why it might be sad and wasn't sad. And she is now at the place where she's really accepting of me hunting. And she's like, wants me to do it more so that we can have more meat in the freezer. But the first time I ever went out on a real hunt, was with that guy from work. And he had shot, I just went as like a tag along sort of thing. And he'd shot a couple of these feral sheep. And he said, oh, you're going to butcher them. And I'd never, I was still fresh back into eating meat again.
Yes, I hadn't even touched an animal with a knife.
Yeah. Never touched one before like that. And he's like, well, you're going to hold the leg out like this and, you know, make the cut. And I thought in that one moment, if there's ever an instant in my life where I was like, this is just not for me. This is as personal as you can get. I'm now holding a dead animal and it's still warm.
Yep.
And I'm about to cut it, you know. And as soon as I made that first cut, I was like, this is for me. This is for me.
Even like what you're saying now, mate, is as if people don't agree with us guys that hunt for meat for our families and whatever else, that's their opinion. But, you know, from the first time you go out and you harvest an animal and take its life to feed your family, you know, that you're not going out there and aggressively hunting an animal because you want to kill. You're going out there to feed your family and yourself.
Exactly.
So it's
or just pest control.
That's right. Even vermin control, whatever.
You know, man, you come home, you bring the food home, you process it all. The whole thing is a task, you know.
Yep.
And then you finally sit down with your family or your friends or whoever is coming around and you have a meal.
Yep.
And being a vegan, I still do it now. You know, we grow vegetables and things like that in your house. That's really rewarding. You know, you spend so much time you spend.
What's a vegetable?
I can see your vegetables outside. Man.
Nah, I'm joking.
But you know, you put a lot of time into
absolutely.
it, you know, and caring for these animals, the vegetables and whatnot. And when you feed them to yourself or to other people, it's rewarding. When you have gone through the process of hunting, it's 20 times more rewarding. You've had to put so much effort into the practice and skill acquisition and learning tricks and things like that, and then actually processing everything and then cooking it. It's a huge task.
It's a commitment. It's definitely it's a relationship as well. I see it as.
It's a relationship with your food. It's
absolutely. You got to go out and find it, man. Yeah. I can't. Like I say to you guys, when you've come down, I said I can't guarantee you anything, but we can go and have a try. So you guys have gotten into your car, driven 350 k's down to southeast.
Oh,
you know,
I left at 2 o'clock in the morning to come down and hunt with you.
You didn't sleep,
and that deer was down by 6:30.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So you you're sacrificing a lot too away from your families and friends and coming down to get this stuff too. But you're also hanging out with mates while you're doing it. But you know what I mean? Like you see the avenue I'm trying to point across.
The meat's a massive part of it, but the relationships, the friendships you make, like I wouldn't know
that you make, man.
the three of you. I would not know any of yous without hunting. Like we all live in the same city, but you know Adelaide's a small city, but none of us would have known each other if it wasn't for that mutual thing of hunting.
And through my hunting, like from what I've done, and I've only been a hunter since 2013 as well. But you know the people I've met, the experiences I've had. I wouldn't have got that growing a veggie garden.
No. The other thing as well is like the way that
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
hunters are sort of like pictured. I don't like to say in the media, but you know the opinion of hunt. It's just like maybe they're like heartless, unopinionated sort of people. You know, not unopinionated, like heartless people. You keep to themselves. You know, yeah, cowboys.
But that's how they're smashing this bullshit, mate. Because they're labelling what I would call children that shoot an animal incorrectly, and they're labelling.
I wouldn't say children.
So the way the media portrays us it's a fair statement, man.
Yeah,
They're tarring a lot of people with a brush that
is
very unnecessary.
yeah.
Those
I mean,
guys that have done those
Yeah, sorry, I'll let you go.
unlawful and stupid decisions to shoot an incorrect animal, and then make it hard for everyone else that has a passion for it and does the right thing, practices day in, day out, and becomes a marksman in that field, you know, and then the government turn around and say, oh, I'm going to ban it. Like,
and then banning bow hunting without banning the equipment, and this stuff's still going to happen because any idiot can go down to a sporting goods store and buy a $200 bow with cheap $7 arrows with field points and then go shoot a stupid kangaroo or go shoot a, you know.
But even if they did, it's the fact that they're not thinking of sales throughout Australia, South Australia. You know, there's only a few archery shops here that mainly sell to hunters that hunt. I can't see, a lot of target guys going through a lot of gear in a weekend as to where we might lose a few arrows. We need to go back to that shop and visit and buy some gear. So, you know, it's the knock-on effect.
And bow hunting's not cheap really.
Like,
Like,
it's not.
You're spending
Broadheads and an arrow. You're flinging an $80 arrow towards an animal. So you're not going to go and do it light-handedly without having experience. You want to make sure that arrow is going to the spot so you can get your arrow back and harvest that animal.
Sorry, man. Well, keep going with what you're saying before.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying, like, you know, the community's seen from the outside as, like, people who are just cowboys. But, you know, I hadn't been shooting a bow heaps long, or I actually had been shooting it for a while, but I started posting on Instagram, and then I got a message from you saying, like, you know, let's hang out sometime or whatever.
Let's go bow fishing.
You started messaging me, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? You know, just...
Bambi's enemy, this guy is.
Yeah. Everyone I've ever met who's been a hunter has just been like good, wholesome people, man. You know, like you said, just
because we value life.
Yeah.
Mate, and that's what
value good food, friendships.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. I actually think a lot of the general population could learn a lot from the community of hunters. Not cowboys and children, but hunters. I've learned more than I ever would if I wasn't just impregnated into this life.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, just the friendships, the stuff I've learned, it's just
the value
irreplaceable.
of food is a huge thing
Absolutely.
that we in a Western society as well take for granted. Especially here in Australia, we don't have a food culture per se. I mean, you can't call a pie floater fucking culture. So we don't really have a food lifestyle. Our food culture comes from other cultures, right? But we miss the fact that we could have this
wild game
lifestyle
culture
around food through hunting and through these things and you know, sharing it with everybody. I know I'm sort of like jumping across a few topics, but you and me, Josh, we cut up some sheep this morning.
Yeah.
Took it to my missus' parents, man. Like, froth. I get brownie points, man. I get brownie points. Like, just instantly. She's like, yep, cool. Like, you're my favourite son-in-law.
But that's like you say, Josh. You know, you go on there and you're blessing someone else with a freshly harvested animal that's been born and bred on a farm. You know, you've taken its life and done what you have to do. But that's what happens on a farm here in Australia. You know, and then we've brought it back. We've refrigerated it for 5 days. We've cut it up, and it's going to feed the family for the next 4 or 5 weeks. Then you're going to do it again.
But there's also
It's
this
been
thing.
happening ever since I was born.
Yeah.
You know, it's been happening generations and generations. So
There's also this thing these days where people in the suburbs don't know their neighbours, so they don't get along. Like, most people in suburbs wouldn't know what their neighbour does for work, doesn't know their name. So I grew up in the Adelaide Hills, moved down with my wife to her house down in the suburbs, and we had a new neighbour move in 6 months after I moved in, and his first experience with me was me carrying a skunned deer into my garage over my shoulder and then butchering it in the middle of the garage. He's moving in, he's come over, said g'day, because he's from the Adelaide Hills too, and he just sees me carrying this deer in. And he's like,
out.
he's like, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's a deer. He's like, oh, we have deer. I'm like, yeah, man, up in the hills. He's like, oh, that's awesome. So cut him up some.
You said it was the last neighbour.
Yeah. So cut him up some, gave him some, you know. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, oh, you got dogs? Here's some bones for your dogs. Next door neighbour on the other side, chatting to them, and I'm like, oh, you guys eat meat? And his wife's like, oh, no, I'm a vegetarian. And he's like, oh, yeah, I eat meat, but I just cook it for myself. I'm like, all right, here's some venison. Next day he comes over and he's like, man, that was incredible. That's so good. And then she's come over and she's like, oh, so what do you do with like the deer heads and antlers and stuff? She's like, my dad would really love some. I'm like, well, when we shoot them, they're kind of like memories for us. So I don't really part with the heads and the antlers that I take and find. But, you know, you can go up to the forest and walk around and find your own. So this time of year, you can just walk down a fence line, walk down pine rows and go find your own. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, the antlers grow every year. They drop off, they grow again, and they grow bigger. And she's like, I did not know that. Like, they were just blown away that, you know, these things happen.
Bliss, bro.
It's
Ignorance
crazy.
Is bliss. Like, you know, with the general population. This topic grinds my gears, man. It really grinds my gears because out of, like, everything that's happening with the shooting community, and I don't mean to cut you off,
go.
Zach, but like the whole bow ban, we already know that, like, the Labor and the Greens are trying to etch away our firearms rights and laws and things like that. The bow ban, everything is against shooters, and I just feel it's because we've removed this part of society, like of our culture, our history, the way that we've managed to get where we are today as a whole, as a world, and that is hunting. They've removed that out of society so much. It's this foreign concept, and we're now just martyrs. We're labelled as martyrs or something, and I don't understand it.
It's the Hainesy's just bored. He's checking his social medias. It's a mixture of like people being Disney-fied, like watching all these Bambi movies growing up where animals have character and personalities, and then
it's not just that, man. It's direction of the media too, and also government strategies.
It's not just, you just look at it like just from the supermarket's perspective. It's just that people go to the supermarket to buy meat. They don't go to buy animal parts. You know, it's just, they have no connection to that being a living thing. You go buy a pack of chicken breasts, that's never been a thing.
Absolutely.
You don't just go and buy a part of an animal.
Foam tray and a bit of Glad wrap with a sticker on it.
Exactly. You're going to buy an item. You're not going to buy an animal. So
that's where us and the vegans could kind of meet on one point, because you know, you see these extreme activists going to supermarkets and saying, you know, when you're buying milk, you're buying something that's from an animal. When you're buying a chicken breast, you know, this is from an animal. they understand it's from an animal and we understand it's from an animal. But then you've got those people in between that just go and buy an item like you're saying. So that's like one spot where we can meet in the middle with these extreme activists. Like, we both understand it's coming from an animal, but we're looking at the animal as a whole rather than as an individual as they are.
Having been on both sides of the coin now, like I can see there's a lot of similarities between the two of us, like the two different groups of people.
100%.
Oh, it's funny that you mentioned that. I had this theory, and it's just mostly from watching YouTube and shows like Alone. Alone's a great one, to be honest, because there are a number of men and women that go on that show that, to me, they come across quite lovey-dovey and sort of all for peace. And maybe if I was to stereotype them, I'd say, oh, you're a vegan. That's the way they look and act and things like that. And there is a bit of a stereotype there. But you know what? They're on these shows and they're like catching fish, catching rabbits, shooting things with their bow, and you're just like, well, okay, so has this gap been bridged between that stereotypical vegan, hippie vegan, and hunters? And now they're starting to realise the nutrients, the benefits, and this and that between the two.
Nah.
No?
No. I'd say that 90% of the vegans that I've talked to and met are they're living in having been a hunter now, they're living in a dream world.
A Disneyland.
Almost like a Disneyland, where these animals, if you were to say to them, hey, look, that, this animal that I've shot is an old buck and he's going to be, too weak to fend for himself before long and be ostracised and then die a slow, painful death of starvation as he, his teeth fall out his head or whatever. They wouldn't be able to mentally picture that. No. There's a meme I've seen where, there's this deer
in a hospital bed
and all his family are around him. It's ridiculous, but that's the idea.
It's like how vegans picture animals dying in the wild.
That property, the one in Mount Torrance we go to, and might have been the first time I went hunting, or with you anyway, or the second, I don't know. But there was like a deer that had got his leg trapped in a piece of fence and just spun himself out, and it just died there. Like it was the worst way to die.
There is no humane way to die in the natural world. They either die from starvation, they die from infection from fighting with another animal. Like with deer, they have their antlers to fight. They pierce each other with these antlers. They'll either kill each other by going through the vitals with the antlers, or they'll die from infection. And then even if they don't, they'll have these injuries. So that buck that I shot this year with the one antler, his skull was all cracked and he had a piece of antler hanging down from his head. Right? Yeah, the one I shot with you.
Pulverized as well.
These deer will break legs and they'll keep living. Like, they don't have the same sense of pain as we do. They have an instinct to survive. So if they get hurt, they're just going to push on as far as they can and survive as long as they can. So us going out there, shooting it with a bow, shooting it with a rifle, that's the quickest death that animal is going to have, because otherwise it's going to die from dehydration, starvation. Like, there's not just old age, it's starvation. All their teeth are gone. They can't drink. They can't make it to the water. They die. Well, crows peck out their eyes.
Same
Wild
as that
dogs.
Camel we just harvested.
Yeah.
Yep. Had a dislocated leg. So, we thought the ideal thing to do for that, which we knew what the right thing to do was to hunt that camel. We had to put him out of his misery. There's no way he's going to be able to push out of this area to get to the area that he needs to. All his mates have already left him, and he was withering away. So we just, instead of a slow, sad, lonely death, we just fast-tracked it and put him out of his misery.
Well, with the amount of wild dogs in that area, they would have caught him and just ate him arsehole first. Like, there is no human.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it brings it back to an educational issue to the general public, but no one wants to hear gruesome shit.
And that's the thing. I think the main issue we're dealing with, especially with this Deputy Premier Susan Close, is a mixture of ignorance and uneducation. Like, they just don't know. I
Have
think
some finances like grease in their pockets, bro. 100%.
from what I know about this Susan Close, her dad is a mega animal rights extremist as well. So that's where it's stemmed from. Plus, she's got ties to Greenpeace, RSPCA.
Has anyone offered to take her out on a hunt and show her? She's a meat eater, isn't she?
No, I wouldn't say so with the stances that she has.
Imagine the pressure. I'm serious. Like you could take her out of bow hunt, and I don't know, the animal that you've been presented with is standing close, but he's semi-aware that you're there, and you gut shot the thing right in front of her.
This is where I guess this is where someone who's gonna take her out is good under pressure.
Look,
What the avenue I'd take with someone like that would be go back to where it starts on a farm. You'd go down there, you'd get a sheep into the yard, you let it empty overnight, and you go in there and you cut its throat.
so
And
they're not caring about. They don't care about how the animal dies. Their issue is that we're killing this animal. They're seeing this animal as an individual, as in you or I.
No,
so
they were they were caring about the way it was dying, man, because they were saying suffering. It's a slow death.
I know, but they're looking at this animal as it's an individual. They think most of these people think it's equivalent to murder. If they could make it that an animal has the same rights as you and I, that if I shot a deer, I could go to jail because I've just murdered that deer. That's what they're thinking in their head. So if you're taking these people out hunting with you, they're just going to think like you're a Nazi killing a Jew. Like that's just how they're going to see
They
it.
might think
I know
that
you're
way,
laughing,
but-
Ilias, but
The analogy is just incredible.
but that's what they're gonna they're going
the
to.
thing that you were trying to show someone like that is though, if you took him out and did it my way, is you're going to be showing them what it takes to get to that position before you pull the trigger or release the animal.
So
And
there
then
was
secondly, how you break that animal down and get it into a cold position,
so
which is in the chiller. And
Again,
then where it processes out and lands on your table at home.
the way they're looking at it. So they're not looking at that deer as a deer. They're
I
looking
get what you
at
mean.
that
Yeah.
as a
Surely
sentient
they're
being.
not that far gone with empathy.
These people are. So they're looking. So if you're going to go shoot that deer in front of them, they're looking at it as you just murdered something, and then you start gutting it and breaking it down. It's like someone torturing another person and then butchering a person in front of them. That's how they're seeing it.
Has anyone said to your ancestors got you to this point today where you're alive?
They don't care.
Because
too
you
logical.
did sustainable hunting.
This
If
is
you
a-
trace the lineage
This is
back
the problem:
that
is
far.
that we're having logical arguments to an emotional argument. It's like you can come in with all the logic you want, but
Yeah, but
not listening to
you
them.
bridge that gap, bro.
I'm not like most people. I'm aware of that, and it's because
You hunted with him?
He hasn't yet.
naked 80% of the time.
Naked, eyes roll back like a white pointer.
No, but like I said, there's no point in becoming dogmatic or being dogmatic about anything. You have to experience things to form an opinion about them, and that's like a very The problem with the vegan people. Now I've shot fires. What do you call it?
Shots fired.
Thank you. Is that their identity is attached to their ideals. So like being a vegan is part of their physical identity. So if you question anything that's not vegan, or you question their veganism or put logic on it, you're not attacking the veganism. You are now attacking them.
So that's how hunters need to be.
That's
Identify as a fucking
but
hunter.
there's different-
That's how
vegans are
I
seen
feel.
as hippies and harmless people. They're peaceful to the
I'm
world and
harmless.
to nature, and then you get that way with.
Well, I'm telling you
pictures
now,
of
they
rifles
sleep
and
at
guns
night.
in your hands. They're
I'm-
going to be thinking, "Oh, this guy's he's threatening me now."
I'm telling you now, they sleep at night to the tune of fucking oceans and all this shit because fucking brave
Have you
men
been to my house?
have.
Well, you know when your window's foggy at night? That's Josh just.
They've fought with violence to keep them in that position, mate.
Yeah, I
with
just,
extreme fucking
But you
violence.
can't tell them that. So there was
I can show them videos.
there was a yeah, but again, that's the equivalent of showing someone getting murdered to them. They don't care about that. So there was a brilliant documentary a couple of years back with a politician called Robert Borsak. I'm not sure if you guys know who he is. His Shooters, Fishers, Farmers Party in New South Wales, and then another bloke called Steve Lee. They did a program called Living with the Enemy. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of Living with the Enemy, but what they did, they went out with two extreme animal rights activists. So they spent a week on a farm hunting, and then they took these animal rights activists hunting, and then Rob and Steve went and lived with the animal rights activists in their house. So they went hunting, they went shooting, the animal rights activist, she's crying and she's freaking out when the gunshots are going off, and she's, seeing
hold
these
yourself together, man.
seeing these pigs get shot, and she's an emotional wreck, like her dad's just been murdered in front of her. Like, she could not cope. Then Rob and Steve went and lived with them in their animal rights house.
They were crying.
They've
Couldn't believe it. Though. Beans out of a tin.
they've broken into these farms and stolen piglets, and they've got this pig in like a pig wheelchair. Its back ends like two wheels. Ilias is gone. He's ran away. And they ask the hunters, Steve and Rob, what their thoughts on that. And one of them goes, "My initial thoughts was Meals on Wheels." But yeah, so they've gone from one extreme to the next.
That's where Uber Eats came in.
Yeah, exactly. But Ilias is gone. He's lost it.
Had me a bloody
Pig wheelchair.
I'll have to find the link. I think you have to pay for it
Please
these
don't,
days,
don't.
but it's incredible to watch, just because it puts that perspective into motion where that they're not looking at these animals as animals. They think they're a sentient being equivalent
to
of
me
you and
that-
I.
To me, that is an imbalance in your hormones in your brains. Okay,
Soy. We had this discussion before the
we-
podcast.
We did, but
Soy milk.
But that explains, in my mind, a lot. On top of being belt fed and narrative by the ideology that they spread and things like this.
Yeah.
But I think 100% imbalance in hormones. I had this conversation actually with my missus the other day, and because we were talking about empathy when you kill something.
Yeah.
And I said, look, for me personally, driving down the road, and if bird flies out, I will. And I know I shouldn't do this, and I know I shouldn't swerve, but I will try to not hit it in the safest manner possible.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Because that's just senseless killing. But I said to her, I said, it doesn't correlate to hunting an animal at all. Like, to me, I'm feeding you, I'm feeding your family, my family. I'm having this bond with a group of guys, which is imperative for mental health.
Oh, 100%.
Imperative.
It's in our
At the
DNA.
same time. So it's all medicine from start to finish. So we're talking about this empathy, right? And I asked her, I said, could you pull the trigger? She's like, yes, I could. Because she can see the greater outcome of it. And that's something that she'll do eventually, she'll get into eventually. But she has this ability to look past the moment of suffering to a bigger picture, nourishment.
But these people can't look past that. Again,
Well, so should it be medically diagnosed as, and this is controversial, but should it be medically diagnosed as a sickness?
I see where you're going, and I think, that's a. I don't know. I don't think you can medically diagnose someone for an ideology.
Well, we medically diagnose people that have lived in a country that believe in a certain religion as terrorists, and you could say that
Have we done that? Have we
you could
medically
say that
diagnosed them?
they're diagnosed is
Have
terrorism.
you ever been to the doctor and been like, I think you might be suffering from terrorism?
Well, the state
I don't
actually does.
The suicide vest.
The state can.
Bomb in the chest, gave it away.
The state can diagnose you as an unfit person, and I only learnt this through this conversation. They can force you to have a injection, I don't know what it's called, every month and a half. If you are that sick in the head, they will force you to have this injection to the point where if you don't willingly take it, they will send police and I'm presuming someone that
COVID-19 vaccine
that's able to administer the drug to their house,
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
right? To administer this drug, and they are allowed to use force
Yeah.
to administer this drug.
That's nuts.
I only know about this yesterday, man. I'm sitting there
YouTube?
going,
Did they rock up?
No, my missus is a cop, and we were talking about it, and I'm like, oh, well, okay. So yes, we could diagnose things as an illness. Not to say, and this will be quite controversial, I'm sure, but not to say that these people are ill, that they're an improper person, but too much empathy is a bad thing, because then we start getting into wokeism.
Yeah,
Then we start getting into, oh, you said something that I disagree with, that's it, I'm offended. And then we get into this whole other stigma that society's in right now because of empathy.
and I don't think it's so much an empathy thing. I think it's a sickness from living in a city where you don't know your neighbours, you're stacked on top of each other, you're not actually spending time with wilderness. Like, you're not, they might go on a nature hike once a month or once a week, but they're not out there experiencing what nature's like. They're
Hardship.
living...
And this is something
That's
I was
what-
going to bring up
exactly
before
what I was going to say.
to you, is we have had very, especially in Australia, very little to nil adversity. I mean, when you look at the states, the reason why the states are patriotic, they fucking had to fight for their freedom, man. They had to lose people, spill blood on their own soil for it. In Australia, we haven't, and it's like, okay, we are doing a lot better than other countries, don't get me wrong, but if we keep going down our path with no adversity, we have no character, we have no soul, we have no identity individually and collectively at all.
But that's the thing. Like, hunting in Australia is our culture. Like, we've come over here, we've brought all these introduced animals over here for hunting purposes, for meat purposes. We've hunted for meat over here. We've hunted for skins over here. Like, you talk a generation ago, 2 generations ago, they were shooting rabbits for fur, meat, all of that stuff. But
Used to be pears back then.
yeah, pears.
That's 2 rabbits.
Yeah. So that, we've had hunting as a culture, but as a quote that I learned from Joe Rogan was, hard times create hard men create easy times create soft men, and it's just a cycle. Like, soft men create, hard times.
I agree.
And we're just reliving that cycle.
See, with that, I wonder, with the way society's going, the inflation and everything of the current climate, I do wonder, in 5 years' time, is everyone going to have the same opinion because of it, mate?
It's changing.
Create
Just
some hard times.
Just look at how COVID has. At the start of COVID, everyone was split. It was, I'm not getting the vaccine, or I'm getting the vaccine, and I'm getting the vaccine. If I'm getting the vaccine, you're getting the vaccine. And then as it's gone on, and we've seen that COVID's not as bad as it was made out to be, people are meeting on that middle. Like, see, I told you that you didn't have to get the vaccine. And they're like, oh yeah, I kind of wish I didn't get the vaccine now. Like, it's just back and forth, like a pendulum.
This is a whole new topic.
Yep.
The COVID thing, man, pisses me off, actually, because I think there's some infertility issues stemming from COVID. But hey, let's not go down the road.
It's all a part of the subject, because it's some people on that
It's all
side.
interconnected.
Yeah,
you are
it's-
correct, and typically when you see certain stereotype of people, they fall under the category of, I'll conform to
Govern
certain
me
things
harder,
and-
daddy.
Yeah. This is where, and look, podcasts and social media, we're all a part of it that's sitting at this table, is imperative. Not for, you can take the firearms and the bow hunting and the fishing and four-wheel driving out of it, but it's imperative for the community, for level-headed people that can get together and discuss both sides of each story and come to a logical conclusion.
But yeah, it's that. It's also that if I don't want to do something, don't force it on me. If you don't like what I'm doing, don't force your views on me. If you don't like bow hunting, if you don't like hunting, don't try and ban it because you don't like it and don't understand it. You don't have a part of it. Yes, there's people that spoil it for the rest of us by shooting an animal with a field point with a $200 bow from a sporting goods shop.
Bro,
Like
people
it's-
run over people with their cars. We're not banning cars. I mean, you look at UK, they're going fucking like full spec. They're cutting tips off of knives because that'll somehow prevent people stabbing.
Only
people
selling
and-
butter knives, yeah.
and, you're not allowed a sharpened knife, an edged knife. Sorry. Like,
You're just running
you
around
know,
with a bunch of spoons. Is that what you're doing?
yeah, basically. Oh, mate, you
Spoon
can kill-
crime has gone
you
up
can
a
kill
lot in the
anything with
UK.
anything.
There's a sticker that we need to make. It's called "Take the Fun Out of South Australia."
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
The
Yeah.
thing that is the other problem as well is that a lot of these people that become activists, you're well aware that my sister is social justice warrior. You know, they're
Shout out if she's listening.
Ebony, this one's for you. Is that, you know, these people that go to universities and they stumble across these ideologies and, you know, they then, like I said, associate those with their identity. These people make their way up through society and end up becoming the powers that be, politicians and things, and social workers and all sorts of other things. Whereas the people who hunt are like salt of the earth people.
And living life and just, they're working
We spend our
trades.
times
That
outdoors with other like-minded people. We work jobs that are like more manual. You know, we have no real influence. Well, we're not making laws and things. You know, we're just
See, this is
guys
where
doing things, man.
You know, as a collective, what we're doing on social media is imperative because it starts here. Hopefully, we can influence.
Hopefully, we can make an impact, man.
I feel like
we need to make an
sometimes
impact.
it goes two ways because
Well, look what you've just done, mate. You've stepped out and as a passionate bow hunter, you've gone and bought a rifle, mate, because you don't know your future
Oh, yeah,
through
we're
all
gonna
this
start
crap.
talking about
You
that
should
later.
sell your story to bloody BBC or something. To be honest, mate, like
I knew you were not going to be able to hold your face together when he said
No,
BBC.
But the thing is, though, man, like
Or
you're
seven,
getting a
9.
huge part of your life and your passion taken away
I'm flattered.
if they move it forward.
well, you should because you've been on both ends of the store of the spectrum, and Josh is right.
In all honesty, I have thought about it. I've messaged you about contacting
You have.
Donna and whatnot.
Well, don't think about it, dude.
No, but I'm in two minds about it because on one side of the coin, I feel like yes, it's bringing good light outside of our echo chamber to what hunters' values are, and the other side, I also think that this is what I was saying about I don't know how social media helps or hinders us because we're always posting what we're doing and dead animals and things like that. Are we becoming?
had that conversation
are we
this morning.
starting to paint this on
I'm going to stop
ourselves?
you there.
No,
I'm going
I'm
to
not-
stop you there
you can-
because
don't have to stop.
Josh and I and Zach have lived in this world where saying nothing, you just watch your livelihood be eroded by those who speak up. Now, there's
No,
the
I
other thing.
agree. Actually, I do.
The other thing is there's no such thing as bad news, right? So if you think it's going to draw attention on the spotlight of bow hunting and in a bad way, forget that. It's just look at it as it's going to draw attention towards bow hunting. Stop. Pause. Period. Good or bad, it's going to draw that attention and create chatter, discussions, people getting involved. Now, in your unique position, which doesn't happen a lot, going from being a vegan to now a meat eater and a hunter, you in my mind, you have an obligation to get your story out there. That's me.
No, I sincerely appreciate. I'm listening to what you're saying. I appreciate.
We
that.
got your back, mate.
I think
We do, and you look, because the fact of the matter is, you take up a bow and you practice every day online, and you post your stories, you post your hunts. You're going to get, at some point, you're going to get some.
I'm not afraid of myself getting hate. I'm not afraid of people telling me you're an animal, because I am an animal.
Bro, you're
Good-looking animal.
articulated and you're obviously educated. So don't worry about the rest of it.
Like I said,
I think it's more
I'm not afraid of.
his family and
No.
us.
Look, friends, family, stuff a lot of you. But what I'm serious
Sorry,
about is that I'm not afraid of copping heat, because
does plenty of that.
I got plenty of that. I hate to bring race into it, but I was like the only brown kid at my kindy, my primary school.
You're brown?
I was just about to say.
I knew you were going to say that. You say that, but
Can you use that in your bio that you sell to the story? You
it.
might get a bit more publicity.
That's it. I sound white. But anyway, listen, I really don't care. There's nothing that you can't make a noise with your mouth that's going to offend me. I couldn't care less. I'm more concerned about not representing bow hunting in a good enough way. Not doing it justice.
You got to stop that. I mean, you got Zach here who rings up on BBC and is like, pretty much like, "Fuck you."
This thing about
It was 5AA, not BBC,
sorry, I
but
got BBC.
we don't want to know your
Sorry.
Pornhub search history, but
and look, in the heat of the moment, everything can be done better. And if you
when I rang up, I was ropeable, man. I was
maybe waiting an hour or so when you calm down a little bit, but then you would have missed your opportunity.
I would have missed my
to
opportunity.
ring.
And my wife, like she's said, like, you're way too emotional about this. I'm like, why? Like, how can I not be emotional? They're attacking my way of life.
The thing is, though, because we had that chat as well, me and Josh. But the thing is, if you're passionate about something, be yourself. Be real. Don't hold it back.
I'm very slow to anger.
Get it out there. What's holding you back? Just do it. You gotta do
This,
it. Man.
this hasn't.
To be honest, man, you look. I learnt this when I had a cafe in Mawson Lakes, probably the most hoity-toity fucking, I don't know.
See the bloody Murray
Vegan-y.
Cotter pulled out of there the other day?
man.
That's
What it
freaking
tastes like.
insane. Oh, yummy.
But these people were crazy, and I got to a point when I was actively hunting often, when I had that cafe, and people would, or regulars would come in and they'd be like, "Oh, what'd you do this weekend?" And I used to hide it because I think it would impede my business. You know what?
Yeah, I got you.
I just turned around and said to them, "Oh, I was out hunting on the weekend. Oh, what'd you get? Oh, a few roos, got some meat for the barbie and or whatever, under tags or destruction permit, whatever. A few bunnies. It didn't matter, whatever it was. And you know what? It was funny. Out of the couples that I thought would offend them, the regulars the most, it was the opposite one that I thought I would offend the most. That would be like, "Oh, yeah, my dad used to shoot, or my grandfather used to shoot."
Yeah, I mean, I see that all the time when
Yeah,
I work with them.
and I was baffled. I was like, I beg your pardon. And I actually grew more relationships doing it, because then I would sit down at the table. I'll give them a free coffee because it's my cafe. I can do what the fuck I want. I'd sit down at the table and I'll give them a coffee, the finest coffee that you've ever tried, Toby's Estate. Shout out to Toby's Estate. And chat. And suddenly they'd be in my cafe for like 3 fucking hours, mate, and we'd be talking. And I'm not the most articulated or educated person in the world at all. And I certainly, when I get a bee in my ass, I fucking yap, which is a bad trait. a trait that all men need to learn to rein in, and I'm learning how to do that slowly.
Yeah, but why would
But it
you
didn't
rein
matter.
it in when you believe what you're saying is correct?
Exactly, and it didn't matter. And you know what? The amount of people that I met and we talked about it, and whether I changed their minds or not, it doesn't matter. We're the conversation.
Yeah.
They're now aware that someone in their what do you call it?
Just in their circle.
In their community, direct community, hunts.
Yeah. Oh, I've had the same thing too, man, with people that, you bring up a situation where you went out and had a hunt and you harvested an animal or whatever. I always use the word harvest because I don't like to say killing and that too much, but technically you're killing an animal which you're going to eat.
Yeah, harvest is a weird word.
It is a weird word, but I just use it. And then it's the least expected person out of that little group to go, oh, I just want to ask you a couple of questions about what you did on the weekend. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to know? They ask you everything.
Yeah.
Why'd you shoot it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you do with it? Did it taste good?
Yep.
Does your family eat it?
Yep.
So
It's a lot of meat. Would you give it away, or what do you do? I said, no, I make all small goods and sausages and all that, and they're like, far out. And eventually they end up asking you for some.
Yeah, exactly. They almost want to indulge in your efforts, and this is imperative to keep our sport alive, because they may or may not get into it and hunt for themselves, but guess what? They'll tell their kids about it. Their kids will then grow up with some sort of understanding other than what the media's beaten into us about hunters and shooters and all the rest of it. So absolutely imperative.
No, look, man, I've been foolish. I think I really appreciate
that. It takes a while to get to this point to be vocal and do these things. But if you want to see your bow hunting, especially at this point in time, to survive, you're gonna need to talk up, man. You're gonna just have to do it. Bite the bullet. I mean, not to butt in with your podcast here, but send it, mate. We are not politically correct, and we don't want to be. And you know what? If you looked at it as a business model, it's going to hinder your business and this and that, I don't give a fuck, because at the end of the day, we're penetrating someone's ears with this sort of stuff, and hopefully all of us at the table are inspiring them.
Look,
when they're at the pub talking to their mates, what did you do all week? Oh, went out hunting. Yeah, shot a few deer. Yeah.
But even if there's people listening and they want to have a say or whatever and get a story to us, send it in.
Send it to Send It, mate. Send it to me.
Money connections.
Look, I was inspired by Send It, mate, to start my podcast. I'd done a couple over the phone. I got invited to go on Send It, mate, and that inspired me to start my own. But, growing up how I did, I'd go to and stay at my nan and pop's every fortnight. I'd go hunting, fishing, camping, full driving with them. So on Show and Tell Monday, what was I bringing in? I was bringing in goat skins, goat skulls, goat horns, pictures of fish, pictures of goats that I shot, pictures of rabbits, all of this stuff that I shot, and people were always very, very curious about it. So, there was a big gap between me being younger and then getting into bow hunting. And then once I started getting into bow hunting, you take the happy snap of you with the animal you've taken, and the hate started rolling in. As soon as I started posting that on my Facebook, all these people that I went to school with, family friends, like, what are you doing? How dare you do that? And me being young, 17, 18, 19, I was getting very, very defensive. I'm like, look, one of the people that was giving me shit about posting photos with these dead animals was married to a butcher who was my uncle. And it's like, how are you having a go at me for going out and harvesting a goat? Or shooting a goat. Sorry, I hate using that word, harvesting it.
I think that
it grinds my gears.
No, this is what I don't understand. There's a few people online who always say, like, you're like a cringe hunter if you use the word harvesting. I think it's a sensitive word for a sensitive like a topic, man.
Yeah, but I'm not talking like this is the real world. We shouldn't have to be sensitive
It's
with
not
each
about,
other.
you know, not about filtering what you're doing. It's just a thing. It's for somebody. There's a shock value in telling someone that you kill animals.
I understand that, but
it's like an easier way of saying, "Hey, this is what I do, and this is why I do it." You know, rather than they got some secret meeting going on.
that's just podcast. I think they're getting keen for dinner anyway. But
Look, look, I just
even
went
know
to
what
the
we're
loo,
talking
but I just overheard using, I guess what you'd almost say accepted vernacular or nice vernacular, and yeah, look, at the start, yeah, okay, certainly having a bit of thought about how you approach someone and say the words shoot, harvest, whatever.
Killed.
It is certainly, especially to someone that is against or unsure about hunting, yeah, definitely important to do. Until you've developed that rapport with that person, and then you can introduce your whatever slang you want to use.
But why should we be sensitive to it? Because
It's not sensitive. It's just
us hiding what we're doing. We are going out to kill an animal.
I don't feel
That's
like
what
it's
we're
hiding
doing.
it.
We're killing an animal to put meat in our freezer to manage,
Okay.
like introduce species.
Imagine that you're not a hunter, and I say to you, you ask me, hey, what did you do on the weekend? And I said, man, I just shot a bunch of deer. That sounds like there's something seriously wrong with you. If you say to somebody,
But I would say it as
agree with
I
that
went out.
okay, but you're going to say
because-
something like, look, I do a bit of bow hunting and I bow hunt on the weekend. That's already, if you want to talk in black and whites, that's already you starting to censor what you do.
No,
what's bow hunting? That starts a conversation about
so
that.
there is that. But if I was to say I shot a bunch of deer, I'd say, all right, I went out to a property on the weekend. I shot a bunch of deer because the farmer is having a bunch of issues with an introduced species on their property, eating their crops, damaging their fences. And then I shot and killed those deer so I could take them back
guys walked away.
to feed
You're already on the offensive.
Back foot.
Oh, 100%. 100%. That's
why put yourself in a position to start there? Because number one, kangaroos damage more fences. Than
100%.
so
100%.
putting deer in a position where they shouldn't be.
But would you say you harvested a kangaroo? Would you say you
I
harvested
always
a deer?
harvest everything, but
People-
I always catch a fish.
People at work say, hey, what do you do? You know, when I first started there, you know, they had this whole thing about, you know, you had to fill out this form, what are your interests and whatnot. And I just put in there, you know, I like to spend time in the outdoors and I do a bit of bow hunting. And then when I started working there, people said, oh, I noticed you do a bit of bow hunting. What's that all about? You know, you say, okay, you know, or like you say, oh, don't shoot anything because I'm terrible. You know,
I'm good with a fish, except if
Yeah.
it wiggles, I scream and run.
no, I'm past that now. I only scream on the inside. But
That way I wasn't holding it in the photo.
Yes.
how many have I got now where I'm holding it? You don't understand. I got a lot of childhood trauma with these fish.
Hands down in the kitchen.
You should have seen him because I'm so used to shooting carp and then just take a happy snap, throw him in the bush. He's in there in the bush diving after him. He's like,
I need
why are you
that.
throwing
I
that
need
good
that.
guy?
I want to eat it.
My dad will shoot me if I throw that in the bush.
Yeah. I went and pulled it back out.
What do people do eat them, eh?
Yeah, I eat them. Carp belly is brilliant, man. You can't beat it. There's no bones. in it.
Josh's face right now. Josh Bates,
And,
centre
you know,
mate. His face.
Back to the garden again, and you chuck those in the garden.
Yeah,
you're
like
having a happy
garden
day.
compost. Yeah, awesome.
Hang
But-
on, I want to go back to this bow hunting thing. You know, you're talking about you're opening up a conversation in a more friendly manner by saying, you know, I bow hunt, and then people ask, "Oh, do you ever shoot anything? You ever
Absolutely.
Yeah.
successful?" Yeah, I do manage to harvest every now and then. What does that mean? And then you have like a very reasonable conversation about it, rather than when you say go into the spiel you had before. It feels like you're on the defensive. You're anticipating an attack, so you're defending from the start of the conversation.
To be fair, though, most of the time I do start out, what'd you do on the weekend? I went shooting or I went bow hunting. And then it leads to that conversation.
Yeah, but there's a difference between shooting and hunting.
There's even a difference between like the shooting and
There
hunting and
is.
shooting and harvesting. If you say to somebody like, you know, I'm a hunter and I like to harvest, free range meat, they go, oh, hey, this seems like a reasonable person. If you say I'm a shooter or I shoot animals, because you sound like a psychopath.
Not a psychopath, but you just sound like you went out and massacre. But even when I'm
like
I get asked at work, and I work at the hospital. Oh, what did you do on the weekend? I said, I just went hunting and camping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hunting and camping. Oh yeah, cool. And they say, so what'd you get? And I said, what do you mean, like campsite or whatever? And they said, no, what'd you hunt? I said, I just go out and hunt deer. And they say, oh yeah, cool. Did you get any? I said, yeah, I shot one. And then I say, but also, took plenty of photos and then I show them photos of live animals and they love it. And then I say, oh yeah. I say, oh, where's the one you shot? And I show them the photo of the animal with me with it. And I show them the photo of me mincing it and what I make out of it and stuff
the
like that.
amazing salami, the Metwurst.
That's right, the Metwurst. And they're like, do you eat it? I'm like, that's why I'm hunting it.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what
another
I mean?
thing that people just on the outside don't. The amount of times that people say to me like, "Oh, what do you shoot them for?" And I'm so, "Oh, they're delicious. I love to eat them and help feed."
A lot of people would probably say to me, "Why do you hunt so much and why are you shooting so many deer?"
Price of meat.
No.
Well,
But
no,
there's
that's-
only so much you can eat. That's the next question. But the thing is, I help out a lot of people as well that can't afford meat or can't go and do what I do myself. So, there's an opportunity that I really enjoy and do as well, where I'd give a lot of meat away. So, So that's one of those questions that a lot of people ask me as well. Is like, what'd you shoot for? Well, X amount of mince from that animal will make X amount of product from that, like sausages or Metwurst, because Metwurst chews up a lot of mince. But yeah, I do give a lot of meat away to struggling families, and they appreciate it.
I'm struggling.
I've got some mince for you already.
Hunt for.
Trust me, Josh, I try to get him out. I try. Every
It's
waking
like,
moment I send him a message.
I'm a railway worker.
No,
man.
but I told him
work
before he came here.
He's the fat controller. Like,
He is. He's the actual fat controller
I
of
try to be the fit controller.
Thomas the
Thanks
Tank
a lot.
Engine.
Look, it's just the nature of the beast.
But he's
man.
brown.
That's it. Well, okay.
He's the brown fat controller.
I believe the people are aware I'm brown now.
I think it's been discussed a little too much that Black Lives Matter is going to they're going to burst through that door any minute. But yeah, look, hunting has brought us all here together. That's why we're here. That's why we know each other. That's why we're, sitting around the table eating some amazing top shelf jerky.
Oh, yeah. Well, it didn't last long.
It did not last long
That's
at
the
all.
Inferno too.
That's good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I'm not being paid for this.
That's right.
I can't say for Josh, but we're not.
Even though it says Inferno, like even through my experience, it's not. It is a nice spice,
It's
a
got a
nice
kick
bite
to
to
it,
it,
isn't
but
it?
it's not
Yeah.
out of control. Inferno going to burn your head off.
It's enough to go, oh, that's got some kick. It's
Yeah.
a bit of spice, but you're not crying about it.
I'm crying because I ran out.
Yeah, I know. I'm definitely going to have to get myself some.
Yeah, same.
You said there's a lemon one, did you?
Lemon lime.
Oh,
even
that sounds
just-
good.
even
That'd be
just
good
a
with
standard-
some beers,
Yeah.
lemon lime.
pepperoni. It's all good.
But small goods, how'd you get into making small goods?
Well,
Because your Metwursts, and I know when you and I, Batesy, we did the podcast, we were sitting there eating a bunch
Eating
of
Josh's meat.
eating Josh's big sausage salami.
well, I just always had a passion for even from a little kid, just when we're helping Dad punch the skin off of a sheep or whatever, just so we can eat when we were younger and that. But just harvesting animals and growing up in that field, I went, there's got to be more to just chops and mince. So yeah, just thought I'd give it a crack and make some sausages and some Metwurst, and yeah, like I got advice from people as well, which is as we do, people on social media.
Yeah.
But, just got the equipment and did it, man.
No, that's awesome.
I've had a lot of failures and stuff as well along the way, but yeah.
Because the amount of people that you've taught to make small goods and sausages, like all the Send It Mate crew and all of their friends and around that all of their deer are just into sausages and Metwursts and all of that. The amount of time.
I do chops.
Chops is good too, eh?
Chops. Look, if you're going to do a deer, you eat chops And then me personally, I'm not a rumpy sort of steak kind of guy.
I love a good
I
rump.
love steak.
I think steak's good, but rump, I think rump needs to go in straight into the mincer, in the snags, and the rest of it.
See, I disagree. Breaking it down, there's certain parts of the rump that make amazing steaks, but then there's also certain parts that make amazing
It's where the
curries.
shit's out of, mate. It's like the closest part to the poop.
Yeah, but
That's where all the meat is. I love a good rump. Like,
the difference between your chops and all that stuff, because I used to, shoot a lot of deer and just cut the back straps out and the legs off and that and whatever else meat you could and then mince it. But now I'll gut it and carry the whole thing or
same.
whatever and get it out of that bush, or on a private place or whatever, or somewhere where you got access for a vehicle, I'll pick it up. But we've been butchering up a lot of deer now, like with the bandsaw.
Is that like
into chops.
that's a purpose-built butchering bandsaw, is it?
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yep. And like even this morning, we cut up 5 sheep this morning on the bandsaw.
Yeah, I've seen you
It
guys
takes
do it.
nothing,
Instagram
next to
looks
nothing.
wild.
it's good.
Yeah,
You can open up how many different cuts you can get.
that's
out of
right,
it, too.
exactly. So, but the meat on the bone is just
Oh, it's mint.
it's next
Can't beat
level.
it.
1,000 times better.
You're also getting the nutrients from the bone as
Yeah,
well.
'cause-
especially
Have you
that
done
marrow
leg
and
chops?
Stuff comes through.
Yeah.
It's,
Yes,
You've done that
yeah,
with
yeah.
the venison, just
Yeah.
back
So
leg straight
you got,
through.
You got the top. So you got the back leg of a deer, right? You cut the shank off, and then you got a big ass leg roast. So you cut right through the middle of that leg roast, just above that. What would you call that? What would you call it? The
Like mid-ass,
yeah.
to lower ass.
Anyways, the back section of the where the arse tube goes through, and then the joint of the leg goes into, and then you cut that into chops, and it makes those nice chops with a bit of bone in there.
Yeah,
and then you got
that's
you got one.
You got the bit of marrow that you can suck out
that's
afterwards.
right.
That's
That singular bone in the top half of that, which is your roast. Like, I'm not a butcher. I've just taught myself, so I don't know the cuts correctly, but I just do it.
Yep.
So, and it all works well.
Dead set. It's hard to do it with bigger deer, but we did a red. My red.
That's
and
right,
Did steaks
that's
on,
right.
on the thing, and dead set the hind steaks are like a foot long.
the steak. Those leg chops, those leg steaks would have been bigger than your shoulders. Like,
they were huge, man. I'm like, wow.
Don't offend him.
Yeah, I'm basically the size of a deer. Don't fuck with me.
the whole deer.
Remember that night? Remember that night that day we cut up the red nosed fallow because they hung for 5 days.
Yeah.
In that meat safe, and we went right. We're going to use the swing on, swing off that night, and we cooked those the red chops and the fallow chops. Man,
Yeah.
they were hard to beat.
Yeah. 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 That changed my mind with like just taking a strap out.
Yeah, backstrap.
After that, I'm like, nah, boning. Like,
Tomahawk chops are good too.
yeah,
Like just
yeah.
double
amazing.
steaks, yeah.
Susan's
Bloody
been
hell.
saying, "Oh, we need to get a bandsaw." I said, "You need to let me go hunting more."
Like the bone just makes it better. I'm a huge advocate after that because that day, although we didn't eat for a week prior to this, but that night I took a bite. I'm like, yeah, nah.
Have you cracked the femur and just cooked the femur up on the fire and then ate the marrow straight
I
out of
like
that?
to do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so good.
People think you're weird doing it, man. I'm like,
Marrow
you
is-
ask people and you're like, oh, do you suck the marrow out of your lamb?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah or no. They think it's disgusting.
Oh,
And you're
even-
like, you serious?
Even as
I
a
grew up
kid,
doing
that little bit of marrow on a lamb chop, like that
Oh,
was the
like
first thing that was just the best bit. Yeah, amazing.
Some
But
of us saved it till last because we ate the worst first. But that's all right.
Most people skin their meat before they eat it, mate.
But yeah, it's good. Have you tried bone broth? You tried saving the bones and chucking them in a pot and just making
with
your own
deer
bone
yet.
broth? Try it. It's
I'd like to.
good. It's good to slow cook especially like the rump and stuff like that. chuck it in a bone broth in a slow cook for the day, and it just pulls
I
apart at
normally
the
add
end.
veggies and stuff like that, and a bit of flavour in the
You
leg.
can do that.
Yeah, you can. I don't
Making
tend
stock
Yeah.
though is what you're talking about. Making
Yeah.
stock.
bone
basically-
broth stock. Yeah.
Making your own stock.
But
Absolutely.
I drink it like a hot coffee in the morning. It's
yeah.
it's so good.
If you're sick, you just drink like chicken bone broth or stock, mate. You're good. You get COVID, chicken bone broth.
Yeah, venison bone broth even better.
Do you want a drink?
Oh, good man.
You don't need a signal.
No, right.
Is working. You want a coffee?
No, I want to
No,
sleep.
get in it. You
No,
want-
no, no.
you want a gym?
I gotta work in the morning.
Yeah, I've got to work too. Do you want a gym?
Nah, that's all good, man. Feel a bit of peer
When
pressure.
you and I hunt, shit's
No.
going to be different.
Oh, yeah.
Kombucha. That's the shit.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. There's, I can be hydrated here.
You know this isn't gonna get edited out. I'm just gonna leave this in. Like
Listen,
this is
I
how a
love-
raw
I-
podcast
I-
goes for 2.5
I got nothing
hours.
against drinking. I do love having a drink, but
Oh, do you want?
His-
slippery slope.
Oh, we'll have one with dinner together. That's all right.
Oh, speaking of dinner, we've got some camel steaks from Hainesy and Brett's trip out. If you haven't seen the video from Hainesy and Brett's trip out,
Yeah, Susan's watched it. I haven't.
Susan's watched it and you haven't.
Yeah, I keep going to, and then I just
It's good, man.
Actually, like, I started watching it and I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And there was a subscriber.
Brett's
obviously.
Brett shit's good. It's
Yeah.
He does some
I've
amazing.
got no doubt it's good. I just haven't. I feel like I barely had time to look at myself.
You don't have to put candles on to watch it if
That's how I
what
watch
you're
all
talking
my. I run a nice
Candles and lotion.
Bath bomb in,
about. Oh, dear.
shave all the hair off. My
That's
body.
exactly what he says when he's watching his videos.
Yeah, it's good. I'm pretty keen to get into them camels.
Oh, dude, how wicked! Like, so one of my first intros to bow hunting. So I was about 16. I went out bow fishing. Like, I've always had a little recurve fiberglass bow from when I was about 5 years old, but I never shot anything with it. You know, I ran around trying to shoot rabbits. But when I was about 16, I got taken out bow fishing by my dad. Shot about 6-7 carp, and I was hooked. Like, no pun intended, I was hooked. It was so good. We've gone back to his house, and he had a bunch of bow hunting DVDs. So there was a guy called Casey McCullum from South Australia. He's one of the best bow hunters to come out of Australia. He's taken all the game species from Australia and New Zealand with a bow, and like great animals. So we watched his videos, and we watched Bushman Brooks. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but he's incredible hunter as well. And yeah, so Casey McCullum's got this video where they're sitting on a dam, and about 400 camels come into this dam and just drinking on last light. You just see all this dust coming, all these camels, they're fighting, carrying on. And these guys are just launching arrows well, not launching, you know, they shoot a camel or two each, and it's insane. It's so good.
Cool.
I'm pretty keen to watch that, to be honest.
Oh,
I haven't
it's-
seen the link.
It's cool. He's got a couple DVDs. Casey McCullum bow hunting. He's a bloody badass bow hunter. But that's watching those videos. That's when my passion for bow hunting started. You know, there's a video, like a clip of him standing on an old dead tree up in the NT, and he's got this big water buffalo out in the swamp, and he shoots it, and this buffalo's just like turned around and just like staring him down in this tree, and he's like standing on this old dead tree, and it's like bobbing up and down like a second away from breaking. It's so good.
That shit will jack you up. Oh, I miss the NT, man. So much like, I know we were just talking before about not being a cowboy, but being a cowboy in certain situations, right? And man, I just bought a boat, as Josh knows.
Oh, no.
Oh, you got a boat? Bloody hell! Here we go.
Mate.
What'd you get?
Got a boat.
Oh, 3.7 metre CJ.
Hey, don't knock the 3.7 CJ, mate.
Yeah.
Is this your caravan money you spent on a boat, or
No. This is the boat to go on top of the cruiser to tow the caravan. But Like in Darwin, man, when I was posted up there, pretty much every weekend I just fish and hunt. That was all I did. And it was just like this untapped like place. It feels different when you're exploring down there because there's no fences. There's no fences, there's no bounds, there's no anything. So you sort of you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. There's no roads, no nothing, and you can get into a boat and cruise up like Shady Camp and things like that, and it's just unreal
It's
nature.
wild still.
Yeah, wow.
That's yeah.
It
bet
is
it's amazing.
like one of the last frontiers. I put sort of the high country and some of the places in New South Wales as also untapped stuff because you can walk for days and not see anything. But Darwin, because of the accessibility by boat, whereas in certain times of the year a car you can't, like you just get like just trashed. Because of the boat, it just seemed like you were further into the wilderness because you could get further.
It's part of it's the adventure too.
Yeah, and that's
Something
the
different
plan
about getting in the car, taking it to the water, getting in the boat,
Yeah.
traveling to the hunt.
Yeah. Croc country as well,
Look,
man.
yeah.
Like insane.
NT's incredible. I went there when I was 18, and man, I wish I was like right into bow hunting then, because if I didn't get caught up in the party life, Mitchell Street, you know exactly what
Yeah.
Mitchell Street was like.
Darwin can consume you.
I stayed on Malaluka on Mitchell there, the hostel, and it consumed me,
Yeah.
Honey Pot and then monsoons and back to Honey Pot, then back to monsoons.
Because you've been there, though, and like for me, like I lived there, like now you could go there and you'd have a precise plan on what you're going to do and you'd enjoy it far more.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because when I first rocked up to Matane, I had to do guard like the day I rocked up, right, which sucked. And so I've walked in and I got talking to this fella and he was like, do you want to come out fishing? And I'm like, yeah, done. Like, I'm all into it. Because I had my 30-30 as well with me. So I was sort of, when I got to guard, I was like, oh, what do I do with this? Because I need to store it properly, etc., etc. And anyway, that got the whole conversation sparking and he was like, come fishing with us tomorrow. That's it. Like, we'll finish guard and we'll go. And we did. And because I had that slight nudge, instead of being invited out into Mitchell Street, like for my first few years, it was like, nah, I've got the weekend free.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going bush.
Yeah, so I went up there for a week and a half. It was for my 18th birthday. So, being 18, staying at a backpackers, it's just a whole new...
It was like
eye-opener.
backpacker season probably too.
It was.
You were like,
It was the cusp of the wet and the dry, like the dry and the wet. So it was just beautiful. So I did my tours. I did I went and did Litchfield and all of that. Come back and they're like, a couple backpackers sitting around. They're like, come to Berryman Springs. Yep, all right, let's go. And then all my plans are going to go buy a fishing rod and catch a barramundi and find hunting access and just all went out the window.
There is a hostel that I would recommend going to if you're going to do this sort of thing. In Darwin, I can't remember exactly where it is.
Was it the one with the
pool?
Yeah, the rooftop pool.
No, I don't think it is a rooftop pool, but they got a pool and they got a bar with the pool
next to the pool. So
and you just sit in the pool.
Yeah,
and
so
because Darwin, you're wet, so you may as well swim.
That would have been
sweating.
Malaluka on Mitchell where I stayed. So it had a rooftop pool, the bar right next to it, and you could order drinks from the pool, and you just it was so good.
That can get messy.
Yeah. Have you been to Darwin?
No, I've been meaning to ever since I was a kid because Dad done a whole bunch of travelling around and whatnot, So he's always told me stories and things, and it sounds like it's right up my alley.
It's a cool place.
Sounds like the weather.
It is. It's
too.
good.
I love the heat and humidity. So
You just got to tackle it properly.
yeah.
You know who you guys need to get on to Send It Mate is Jock McQueen off of TikTok. I had him on here. He's just an absolute legend. You would absolutely get along with him.
Is he from Darwin?
He lives in Humpty Doo, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I can't talk freely But yeah, there's an old saying. Yeah, it's all right. Never mind.
Done a lot of station work. He's a welder by trade, and you would absolutely froth chatting to him.
Darwin's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Haven't been there yet. So
We've got 2 boats now, so let's get a crew.
That'd
Let's
be
go up
epic,
there
mate.
and let's
do it.
just
Barra, GTs.
yeah.
And then I did hear that
I wanna
might
shoot
be
a-
croc ballot.
Yeah, there
Maybe a
is.
croc ballot.
Yeah.
Oh, how good would it be if they opened up croc hunting? I'd be there with a bow,
I'll
like
be wearing one.
swamp people style. Shoot him, Jacob. Shoot him. Little bit.
You're
Let it
gonna
go.
want a gun, mate. You're gonna want a rifle.
Well, I just that's what we were saying
Yeah,
just before.
I did mention that about an hour ago.
Yeah. Well, I was sort of looking at getting a rifle because of this whole bow band thing, and then I thought I'll get either a 270 or a 308, and thought about that for a while, and I thought, well, everything I've shot's been with a 300, and I just mentioned it to Josh, like, oh, do you reckon I should just get 300? Yes, get one.
No, why did you? It's like $20 a shot. Poor man's gonna go broke.
No, it's not.
That's why I can't stand
No,
it,
it's
because
not.
he's working to pay
When
for
you
the
shoot like
rounds.
me and him, mate, it's only one shot.
I only go hunting twice a year. A box will last me the rest of my life.
Oh, man. No, I'm a 308 man because of the price, and now I'm a 223 man because
I've shot
of peer
223.
pressure.
I don't mind the 223. but
Don't knock the 2 to 3, man. You would not believe what I've taken with the 2 to 3
Yeah, so why do you need the 300? You could save money.
because I can. No, but it's not about money, man. It's more you want to knock it over and
Be sure.
be done.
Yeah, I'll get you. The 308's a happy medium.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a happy
And
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
like-
yeah. But every man and his dog's got one of them.
I was thinking I would like to just have one rifle that can just do it all.
That's,
And do it for
no,
certain.
if the firearms branch should be listening, that's incorrect. You can't have one rifle to do it all. All right?
I mean, I'm sure
As a
it's probably-
bow hunter coming into rifle hunting, he thinks he can do it all.
No, listen. I assume it's going to probably be like I was only going to buy one bow, and then it became 2, and then it became I'll just buy a bow for my wife. It became 3, and then it became the trad bows, and there's a whole wall of those. And then every time I walk past a bow, I get the sniff of it, and I just hate it.
Have you not been in my hunting room? It's bows galore. I just bought my stepson another
I
bow.
thought you had wallpaper of bows.
Yeah, I know.
But
so
I-
you know Damien Horner.
Yeah.
I just bought his
Oh, you got
son's
his
old
Okay.
bow for Aiden to start bow hunting
Nice,
and
perfect.
bow fishing. Like
Yeah.
it's
Perfect. But the thing is, you're teaching your kid. That's a whole other sector as well. But just in a short brief, it's ethics, being out bush, having fun with dad, and
Yeah.
you know, responsibility, and just having fun.
they're off the screens too. Like
Exactly right.
Do you think about how much time you spend with your kids when you're doing things outdoors?
You watch a YouTube clip now. There's 5 ads.
Yeah.
Your kids are watching YouTube or Netflix, whatever. Excuse me. There's ads. And those ads betray what your mind's going to believe. And a lot of it these days, I do not agree with it.
No, me either.
more than likely, yeah.
That's why my girls don't watch much screen.
No, same with my son and daughter.
I keep coming back to a thing where I want to throw my TV out, actually.
I'd lived without a TV for like 8 years.
And were you better off?
Oh, 100%.
He's the most caveman man you'll ever meet.
I didn't.
He didn't even drink Coke until I met him, and he's just started drinking like Coke
Now
Zero.
he drinks it and snorts it. That was a joke, by the way.
I one day I got home and I was like, no, I'm done with this. And I just took it off the wall and I just didn't have one. And then
Yep.
when my missus came around for the first time, I think I had the TV app actually up, but it wasn't connected to anything. It's just there.
Decoration.
I didn't look at it.
You turn
Didn't
it
miss
on,
at all.
man, and all you got is,
Well, now I only
you know,
like,
ads of what we should be doing. They put on stuff on the news and that you don't really want to listen to.
I don't have
and-
my antenna connected.
Yeah, I
If
couldn't
if
tell you
wanna
the
watch
last time
something,
I
go
watched.
But you're not
like-
missing out on anything. That's what I'm trying to say.
No.
I don't watch TV, normal TV at all, unless I'm
same.
bored. I sit down at like 9:30 at night,
Yeah.
flick through to see if there's a movie. There's nothing, Netflix, or I go on YouTube.
It sounds whack, man, but like, I turn the TV off, never touched it like for years and years and years. And people would always ask me, "What do you do with your spare time?" And like, I would always just tell them, I just talk to my wife, man. Like, I love her, you know, and we've developed a really good connection by spending time with each other. and building those connections with each other, and then it gives you skills to build connections with other people. You know, it's about actually being connected, not being plugged into something. So,
See, I like that, man. Don't get me wrong. I like the time. Like, typically of a night, I'll wind down with TV, and I'll obviously just cuddle. That sounds.
Cuddle with the TV or your missus?
the missus, man,
The
come
missus,
on.
obviously, you know. Yeah. But
Sorry, Hainesy's off getting dinner ready.
But I've threatened it multiple times. I'm like, this
Just do it,
consumes
man.
us. I will put this thing in the bin because, like, I just don't want it to. And there's, you know, like when hunting season sort of dies down, you sort of start picking up the TV, and then you start getting a bit lazy. Like I can identify these peaks and troughs, and I'm like, nah, I want to be constant. And so my mind always, like every sort of month, I'll be like, throw the TV out. Like,
See,
Yeah.
I love a
Even
good movie. I love a good
the
series.
rationalizations you've got for watching TV are all like, you know, they're not right. So you say, okay, you know, get home at the end of the day and I just want to relax. Or,
no, like when we get into bed,
oh, you got
then
one in the room.
then
Yeah.
the TV goes on.
That's
Wait,
no good,
But
man.
like up until that point, it doesn't.
Okay, so like when you watch TV, you're exposed obviously to blue light, which is stimulating, and it
Yeah.
makes you believe that it's becoming daytime. So then you're not having as good a sleep as you would.
Yeah.
If you were not
I got
watching.
an argument for that because I can turn that TV off and fall asleep, and I hit
Doesn't
REM
matter.
sleep. My REM sleep is so good.
Lucky you.
It doesn't. It's very unlikely that's 100% accurate, but it's doing more harm than good, especially watching it at
Yeah.
night time.
Yeah.
You can unwind 100 other different ways, man. I don't know if you can read. I mean, I don't know. I didn't mean
Thanks,
like.
bro.
I didn't mean like if you've got the ability to put letters together.
I can't read. I can't.
It's all right.
I
Most
can't say
people
big
make
words.
What I
that
actually-
assumption when they meet Josh.
Listen, right? Some people they just don't like to read. That's what I
Yeah.
meant. So if you like, if you read, then you can do that, or you can talk to
See,
people, or you
this
can
is the
spend
bad
time
thing.
doing whatever
I'll-
else you want.
I'll push TV aside to use my phone to research or pretty much just research things that I want to know.
Yeah.
That's my night.
But you're still getting that
typically.
blue light
But
that-
There's an
I turn
argument-
my blue light off on my phone.
There's an argument to be made there too. Is that the difference between that is that you're learning things because you're researching things
Yeah.
you're interested in versus just being fed information that is not relevant to any part of your life.
Yeah, true.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Having said that, Game of Thrones is pretty
Never seen a
relevant.
single
I've never
episode.
seen a single
Oh
episode
my
of Game
God.
of Thrones.
Yeah, but
How much?
you
know
don't
why?
sleep. You don't sleep. You're just constantly on the go. You're working. You're with your family. You're fishing.
Do
You're
you even know
hunting.
what TV is?
That's what I was trying to say
Do you know what the
before.
internet is?
It stays black.
He knows what the internet is. Have you seen his social media time?
he's just looking at his reflection in it every day. Man, this guy's on again.
No, it is a good platform to express what you do and try and help people.
It's all good. Hainesy's just getting dinner ready.
He's multitasking.
It is.
He's got camel steaks on. He's got sausages on. He's got potato bake on.
How about this, right? You just turn it off. Take it out of your room for starters. It shouldn't be in there.
It's so good.
Nah.
It's
take it
so
out.
good. You're missing out. We watched
No,
Sons
'cause
of
I like to do
Anarchy,
other things in my
Walking Dead.
bedroom. I don't need that TV doesn't need to be in there. There's no reason that TV needs to be in there. Just take it out for a month and then turn off your TV, you plug it out the wall, whatever, just for a month and just see how different you feel.
I'd be
See,
depressed.
That's funny you say that.
Because
Like
start
you
to
think,
oh,
Nah,
how much
I
time
agree.
have I
Your
got?
mindset changes, man.
So
It
with
changes, mate.
I get that, but you think because like my missus and I are quite good at talking, and we will switch. Yeah, amongst other things, we will switch off the like. Say if we just get home and it's late, we've already had dinner. We just sort of beelining for bed, shower, bed. Instead of just automatically switching it on, we will actually sit and talk. So we will have those days, but I can see where you're going. Where there are also days where you just put the TV on and to go to bed, and instead of talking, you just watch TV, and I'd rather actually be engaged with her
Yeah.
than
Yeah, but
watch some screen.
you'll
You,
see,
you just got to look at what you're watching too, though.
That's true.
It doesn't matter whether the TV's on or not. It's what you're watching, mate. I know what you.
See, I put the TV on to unwind. Like, soon as we put the kids to bed
Yeah, but
pretty
hang on.
early.
Is it YouTube or is it actual TV?
No, not actual TV, but Netflix
Exactly.
streaming
So
services. We're not watching ads and shit. We're
I
watching.
don't agree with what you're watching on the TV. It's if you are watching TV and then you're looking at the news,
Yeah, no.
that just
I stay away from the news, man.
you might as well bang your head against a tree out in your backyard.
But yeah, I put it on to unwind. You know, as soon as that sun goes down, my brain is just my serotonin levels just go, and I'm ready to crash, man.
Because you're always exhausted because you haven't slept.
Because there's a TV in your room. Jesus,
Dude,
it's good.
What time
It's
do
good.
what time do you go to sleep?
Well, it depends on what shift I'm on.
What
It could go to bed at 8:30 in the morning.
normal?
It's normal.
Oh yeah,
Shift like that, there's
suppose you're not
there is
normal.
no normal. Look, if I didn't...
If you're not working, what time are you asleep by?
I like probably... The second I go to bed, I'll be asleep. There's no doubt about it.
Well, lucky you, fuckers.
So
Lucky's in your
we put the kids to bed 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 8:30, 9 o'clock I'm asleep. Like, I can just close my eyes and within a minute or two I'm
Yeah,
out.
I'm the same. I am blessed that way, for sure.
Like, there's no thoughts going on up here that
Right.
keep me
Back
awake.
to you TV talk, and you'd rather engage with your missus. Like when you do have kids and things, and you go down that path and whatnot. Those little nuggets of time that you got together, man, where you can choose to sit and mindlessly not talk to each other and watch something, or be connected and
See, I
valuable time, man.
I look at it as something else, actually. I look at it as time we could be doing stuff, not just sitting and talking. Especially now, daylight savings here, I look at it and I'm like, why the fuck aren't we doing something?
Yeah.
Like in my head, I'm sitting there going, well, it's daylight.
I can do
Don't
something.
be in bed watching TV. Do shit because you can see.
Yeah.
Without
And
kids,
do
that's
stuff with your
understandable.
missus, or
I do the same thing. I put the kids to bed, daylight savings time, especially like last summer. We've got a new garden going at the moment, but put the kids to bed and I wander out, man, and have like a cup of tea and I just potter around the garden, weed some things, do a little bit of work. It's great.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of a yard though. My house, we've got barely nothing. Your back veranda is our yard.
Yeah. But, life's a garden, dig it, bro. Just
No worries, Joe Dirt.
dead set.
Joe Dirt,
I'm building at the moment and going through those processes, and I can't wait to have a bit of space, to be honest, to just do this sort of stuff.
I just built a wicking bed.
Oh.
If you know
Just pat the
What is a wicking bed?
Well, yeah, when the boat's here,
I can't wait for this boat, man.
it's on.
We're having a tinny race.
Yeah, I'm going to beat you, man. It's a Merc 20.
So, how are you going to go catching fish? Like, you're not the greatest at fishing, from what you've said on Send It Mate.
He's had some tips lately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I've
getting better.
had some tips, and look, I'm not Ryan. Most definitely, I'm not Ryan when it comes to
two
fishing.
left hands.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
no brain.
I suck.
Oh, I love Ryan. He's a big, gentle
I'm
giant,
kidding.
mate.
I'm kidding. I love Ryan.
He only just worked out bait helps.
Yeah. And putting
been holding
and
onto the
putting
hook,
the line
throwing
in the
the rod in.
water.
Water always gets into the spool.
Actually, that's funny because I dropped this little lamb to him today, and he was talking to me how his son's a better fisherman than he is. I'm like, bro, your son's 6.
Or is he sick or is he 6?
6, like 6 years old. But yeah, look, I reckon I'll be alright, to be honest.
That day we went out, mate, you did good.
Yeah, I know where.
Yeah, but you've got the genius Hainesy. Whether it's hunting or fishing, he can get you on anything, mate.
Yeah, most.
We're always
definitely.
on something.
But having said that, I do believe being in his tinny, and we were overlooking a whole bunch of squid, and this fella with 2 thumbs caught the bigger one.
That day, mate, that was...
Yeah, but
See,
Hainesy
that's
was
the
paying
thing.
someone to sit under there with scuba gear just hooking
Or he
you
put
up.
us on it. It wouldn't have happened without him, to be honest.
That was a spectacular day, though. We were watching those squid just hover there.
You saw the squid. I reckon you would have been like, you were hooking that tinny, and you were just like, squid. I'm like, yeah, there's squid over there. And you pulled up, and there's squid in the water. I'm like, how the hell did you see that?
Dude, this guy has insane vision. We were cruising, Jordan's driving, cruising through the paddocks, and Hazy goes, "Stop! There's a castie over there."
That's right. It was
Pulled up, and it was fucking. It was smaller than a hog deer castie. It was just this tiny little pissy thing. Pulls
you
over.
know Juddy, Southeast Juddy, my mate. Yeah. I went to kindy with him, everything, grew up with him my whole life. If you mention, you say, "Oh, what's Josh like at finding casties?" He'd be like, he's got either a radar that just picks up casties or smells them or whatever.
You know what I think he does? I reckon he goes places them around the property just to make
Waits a
himself
few
look
years.
good.
Yeah, it comes back.
He goes, there's a castie over there.
That's not a bad idea.
Heck,
That's why he's got
What's
the
his name on
watch.
it?
That's why he's got the watch with the bloody...
Castie, it's got your name on it.
Yeah.
No, but I will vouch for this eyesight because when I dropped my bow, I put it down nicely. I put my quiver down and I took out one arrow, and it had it's got one white feather and 2 orange ones, so it's not.
That's right. They
super
were a bit
visible.
worn out. Yeah.
And I popped it in the ground, just standing up like a flag, and I thought this is going to be like near impossible to find again, especially looking down because it's going to be shrouded by the grass. And then we're driving along, and Martin goes, "Oh, we need to go get Ilias's bow." And you're like, "Oh, there it is." It was like 600 yards off, and just a tiny little orange speck. And he's like, "Yeah, it's down there."
But we're doing 60 through a paddock, man.
We were
And he
flying
goes,
as well.
yeah, there's no driving slow with this fella.
No,
But he's like,
60 is 5 miles an hour. Alright? Yeah. Well, you got to remember.
He's just like, there's a castie. And he comes back for this pissy little, it was like the year after a spike on a fallow, if that.
You got some amazing eyes on you. I've got to admit.
Yeah, you're
It's the
beautiful.
shapes, man. I'm not joking. It's the
You've got a
shape.
secret with your eyes as well.
He's like He's like Rain Man.
I do.
Yeah, to make it worse, he's handicapped.
He's
I
like
am
Rain Man
handicapped.
with deer.
I'm also colourblind.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
He's handicapped.
Badly colourblind, yeah.
That's what it is.
But what are you, like red, green deficient, or in which way? Because
Oh, he's
He's
deficient.
just deficient.
there are certain...
is there red and green?
Nah, listen, I heard once that, I don't know where he's going.
He's
I
running
heard
out to the
once that,
barbecue.
Traditionally, they would employ red, green deficient, colourblind people in the military because they could pick camouflage from miles away
Yeah, wow.
because they not picking.
That's
the same colours
that's
as
probably
everyone.
what it is.
Yeah.
That's why he's so fucking good at picking shit out. Because he can't just break up.
It might be
I've never.
It doesn't
heard,
blend
absolute
in.
I've never heard
bullshit
that,
what I just said,
but
but I did hear it once.
yeah, I think it could help. Yeah, and it probably could be a hindrance as well. I don't know. I'm not colourblind, so
Oh, it's obviously not a hindrance.
yeah.
Like, he'd probably
Might
be
a
like us with
hindrance for
normal
his
fucking
sight,
vision.
picking up feathers on an arrow. But
That wildlife guy, I think it's that wildlife guy. He's colourblind as well.
Yeah, yeah,
He,
he's
like,
good.
Can't see blood on the ground because it's the same colour as everything else.
that smells mint, man.
That smells good.
It's pretty good. Nah, just some colours and that stand out more than others, but I've trained my vision to see shape. So, you know, even like a deer figure standing there in the broadside or whatever in a bush, I'll pick up, even if it's a stump or a fallen branch, I'll pick up that shape and I've got to double check it
Yep.
just to make sure.
So you missed out before on what, because you were checking the barbecue,
Yeah,
which
sorry,
smells
guys.
amazing. So Ilias was asking whether it's green or red deficient.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah. Nah,
You don't know.
they're exactly the
He doesn't
same.
know what green
Red,
is, so
yeah.
It's like, I'll give you an example, which is your street lights on West Terrace, they're orange. All the lights on that street look orange. So I've got to go by shape and position on the post, on the stoplight post.
Jesus.
So it's hard down there, but when I first met Sharon, which is my wife, I took her out and I've actually skidded through a couple of intersections because I was only new to Adelaide as well at that time.
Yeah.
And I had to train myself pretty much to know when to stop, go, and all that stuff. But obviously, green means go, so I can see that. But because it's the bottom light, but when it goes orange and red, I used to stop on orange and all that all the time at night time because they're all the same. Everything looks the same.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How do you go with blood trailing?
I'm terrible.
Really?
Yeah, I'm terrible. I can't see it. So, I think we did that, didn't we? Once before.
No,
was
you
that
and
you?
I
Yeah,
have
that
done
was
that
that's
in a thick
right.
scrub, and
Yeah.
you were one way and I was the other way. I'm all, what are you doing?
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
No, he was on it, but it was Like, come to think about it, man, that makes sense actually, because I was like, there's blood where I'm walking. I'm like, that makes sense.
Why is this guy picking up leaves with no blood on it? Just
Because I had a scenario there where I took a guy out and we shot this deer, and he hit it well, and it went a bit further than what we thought. So they said, "Oh, we'll just blood trail it." And I'm like, "Yep, cool, no worries. You guys look for the blood. I'm looking for prints." And they were like, "Okay, no worries." And then they were on the blood trail and whatnot, and I was super stoked because I found a white rock that had a red dot on it. And I was in the right direction, they weren't. So I said, "Yeah, no, there's a blood dot over here, so come over here."
This guy's a genius.
They come over and they were like, "He knows what he's doing." And I'm like, "Oh, just by fluke I saw that." But anyway, they kept going. They trailed it and found it. It wasn't very far. It was only 30 metres from where he shot it. But, seeing blood in the grass and that, and even on dry, like, because our leaves over here, they perish real fast, so they go like a browny, reddy colour real quick. So, yeah, even when I'm looking into the bush here, it's not very many colours for me. Same with the rainbow. The rainbow's 2 colours. I can only see 2 colours in the rainbow.
that's insane.
So,
That's right.
you know, when people go, "Oh, look at the rainbow," I'm like, "Yeah, cool, thanks."
That makes sense though about training your brain, because like, let's face it, deer have a long neck, they've got ears, they've got antlers if they're a male, you know, they have a certain shape and, smooth edges. So you can train your brain to pick up those things. And the other biggest thing that I've learned to pick up with deer is the sun hitting their skin. You know, like, fucking hell.
It just lights them up,
You
eh?
could get a patch,
Yeah.
no bigger than a 50-cent piece, but you're just like, bulb. That's it. And, like, Josh is a fiend for it. Like, especially in that, picking up those shades. And I do wonder, as you said, if it's the ability of it just stands out, like, more so in his eyes.
Well, it's like deer not being able to see many colours. It's just maybe that's how they see us as well. So he's able to see certain camos and stuff, see what works because he's colourblind.
All you need, mate, is Kuyu, some Kuyu gear. You're good to go. That's all you need. Kuyu, please be listening.
Head over to Send It Mate podcast.
Yeah.
Visible.
Send him extra small pants and medium shirt.
That Verdi camo, I'm digging it. And I like their other cam, actually, their desert stuff. And their gear's sick. Not that, we're doing an advertisement for Kuyu, but... Man, I went down the whole technical rabbit hole with camo and colours and, oh, man. It was a whirlwind I don't want to visit.
I like hearing your thoughts on different things like camo and stuff.
I
Because
thought you're still down that rabbit hole, mate, with the QE pants.
Kui pants. You just lost your sponsorship, Josh.
Nah, Kuyu's good, man. I like it. They're technical pants. I actually haven't, water, wicked on the attack pants. Stretch is great, feels good. You get ventilation. It's rugged. The pattern looks sick. Yeah,
Jeez.
you got to look good to get deer.
You got to feel good and look good.
If it was like,
It's feeling good. 100%.
nah, listen, I couldn't care what I was wearing. If Zach was not frightened of me, I would just go naked.
What do you mean? You only put clothes on to take photos of the deer, man.
Why wouldn't you? You get 100 naked once in your life.
Not that I want to see you naked, but I kind of want to.
You're curious,
you
but you're
just to see what you
curious.
do. Because you take your shirt off, I'll take my shirt off.
We
Well,
could take each other's shirts off.
we can, but no.
This is that whole gym mentality coming out.
I got to admit, there's a part in SA that I hunt, and it's like it is desert, and it is like 50 degrees in
That's
the
your
shade.
spot.
And bro, as soon as I get like back to camp, that's it. Like I'm in my jocks.
Just quickly, if you're hearing any background noise, it's just Josh cooking dinner and his girls coming out. So just addressing that why Bates's
It's
talking.
getting heated in here.
It's dinner time. It's 8 o'clock.
Smells like Josh can cook.
Dude, he's been doing the podcast. He's cooked a barbecue. He's put a potato bake on. He's just a machine.
I bought the cheesecake, so I think we know who the real star of the show is. Here.
You actually bought cheesecake.
I bought 2, yeah.
Really?
I mean, I didn't want to come empty-handed.
Sugar free?
You know, usually would be, but I thought,
He's gone all out on this.
no, well, you know, I'm not going to impose my beliefs on you. If you want it,
Has it got gluten in it?
it does.
Oh, not sugar free, but they're vegan and
Nah.
that free, plant
How can
based.
that be possible with a cheesecake?
There's no...
It's almond cheese,
Made
mate.
from
You can make cheese.
palm tree milk.
Almond cheese.
How the hell do you
Bum.
make an
I
almond?
don't know.
How do you do palm cheese?
Ugh.
That's beyond me.
No, they're not. They're just straight out the freezer.
Next time, get sugar free. I mean, let's face
Hey,
it.
you know-
these boys could use some sugar free.
I only have...
Mate,
sugar-free
I'm
stuff,
on a
mate.
diet, all
And I
right?
thought, you don't want to be that guy who brings a sugar-free cake to a place.
Yeah.
I'll have to get some cake and bread made by my missus' mum. She is full keto, like
yeah?
full, just insane, no sugar, nothing.
Send it my
and
way.
this stuff is actually nice.
What she use, like stevia or something?
Just cardboard
No,
with sugar.
No,
Stop trying to
No.
poo-poo it. I want to
no,
hear it.
like almond meal and things like that. But I have no idea how she does it. No no sweeteners, no sugar.
Yeah.
I'm like you're. It's freakishly good.
Yeah, wicked, man.
Well, insane. She does these donuts, bro.
Oh, I'm
And
there.
the thing is, though,
The Action Man's
You
all
already
about his
know.
donuts.
You know I love a donut.
it makes you feel like you can eat 10 because they're so good. But let's face it, eating 10 donuts, no matter
What
what,
they are.
it is, it's bad for you. But it just, like, you eat one and you'll be like,
That's pretty good.
He may not be successful every time he's out on a hunt, but he's always successful when he's out for a
donut
hunt
shop.
for a donut.
You know, me and Luke we walked around. It was like 40 degrees. We're like, God, we've got to get out of here. Luke goes, do you want to get a donut? I was like, I'm there. We went straight to the bakery.
So
in 40 degrees
Oh, yeah.
for a donut.
I was still in camo too because I didn't bring a change of clothes.
Oh man, I'm always going to shops in camo. I know you guys at Centre Mate always
I can't be bothered.
talk about this. I'm just always in camo. But yeah, Luke and I have gone to this servo to grab a pie after a hunt, and I filmed him picking out his pie in the servo. I'm like, he may not be able to hunt a deer well, but he can sure hunt a pie.
Pies, mate. That's how you put on weight.
It is. That's where you eat 'em.
Trust me, being a truck driver, I know.
I don't eat servo food, man. I refuse to eat it. I'm not putting that crap in my body.
It's so good because I, work in a little office with my little radios and whatnot. I'm basically locked in there for 8 hours. I can't eat anything that's bad, so I just meal prep and take that and eat it. And then on my days off, I go,
Have you ever left to go get something?
no, never.
Really?
No, I can't be bothered.
Well, where do you piss?
I mean, you can still go to I'm not changing the desk, but I'm not going to leave the building.
He said, "I've never left to go get something." He can leave to go to the
I'm
toilet.
not going to leave the building because, there's nothing around it anyway. So
Where do you work?
it's just in Mile End, but it's like tucked away. It's next to the rail line, and you can't really, you'd have to get in your car and drive somewhere. I'm not going to do that.
What about getting the fat truck to you?
Nah. before. I don't want.
True.
There was some, like, they got the lunch truck and stuff that comes, but I'm not eating that. Yeah.
Why not? I can see you down
servo
lunch truck.
food.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
mate.
it's
I do not eat servo food unless I'm like.
You look like you
Diet
need to
Straits.
eat some servo food,
Nah,
mate.
man, that crap is not going in my body if I can help it. I did. This is me being.
Mate, you ate
'cause I ate a
MREs.
sausage
You
roll this
ate
morning with
MREs. You can't
And
just.
that's why I'm not eating that crap anymore. Man. You try and live off an MRE for fucking 9 months and be healthy, bro. I have gut problems because of that.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
It was years later. I've got man. Nah. I tried feeding that stuff to my dog, mate. My dog just
The best thing
turns
about
out it's
MREs were like the M&Ms.
MREs. Well, MREs are US and they're all right, actually, because they're different and they have variety. We have like 8 flavors here in Australia. One of them's vegan or veggie. And then it's like the rest of them are disgusting, man. Like it is, you literally see the
Hang on,
blobs of
The veggie one is just one flavour, is it? So if you're a vegan
they're all
soldier,
there's
you
just 8 flavors.
you,
You got like satay chicken,
Oh,
You
I
got
love a good snag, Josh.
beans. You've got the veggie thing, which I don't even know what the hell that was. I think you've got a pasta dish in there, if you're lucky. You got like frankfurts and like cut carrots, a bit of corn, and maybe some peas. And then there's gelatin. In every single one of them, there's like this, like fucking 4-inch layer of gelatin.
yum.
It's just where the fat settles in
yeah,
a
yeah.
man.
Gullet, mate.
Oh,
Like doing Air Force cadets, we used them when we went out on camps and shit. But yeah, M&Ms.
it's a novelty then.
Yeah. It was. I couldn't imagine fucking living off of them.
Nah, man. The cheese isn't cheese. I don't even know what it
Are
is,
you alright,
mate.
man? Do you
No, I'm getting bloody flashbacks here, man.
It's getting
Well,
healing as we speak.
This has been the longest Hunting Connection podcast there's been. We've covered lots of different avenues, hunting, fishing, bit of everything. So I think it's about time we round it up. Josh has just cooked us an awesome dinner in between jumping in and out of the podcast. So I want to thank you all for listening for the first year. This has been a awesome, fun way to send off the first year podcast with Hainesy, Josh Bates from Centre Mate, and Ilias, Action Man Bow Hunter. Just
the manatee.
don't let me laugh too hard. I'll pee. But yeah, I thank you all for being here and being a part of the first. I wouldn't say season because I'm not going to go seasons. I'm just going to go straight through. So I thank you for being a part of the start of the
for having
Hunting
us, mate.
Connection
Yeah, thanks for having
podcast.
us,
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You know, you're all great mates. You know, I love listening to Centre Mate podcast. It's a weekly routine for me. You know,
Like we said earlier, though, make sure you guys, if you heard that part, to send in a story or whatever, even if it's a short text. Zach can bring it up or he can mention it. You know, even if it's to us guys personally, we'll pass it on, or we could even mention it in our socials, whatever. But yeah, we'd love to hear stories and how you got your first.
I love
first
hearing
animal
from everyone. That's my biggest issue. Is I sit there, people message and be like, "Oh, I just shot this," or you know, "How do I go about this?" I'm like, "Oh, well, message Hainesy or
yeah,
contact someone." If it's a trad question, contact.
yeah. There's
Ilias,
no dumb
you know.
questions, mate, in this game.
It's
Like I'm learning every day as well. Always learning.
And don't be afraid to speak up.
yeah.
Use your
All right,
words.
all right.
So if you guys can,
Head over to
We-
PPC.
yeah, and just tell them that Action Man Ilias is going to have some words.
He's going to get on 60 Minutes. Give
Yeah,
the host.
Affair.
We'll see him on project.
So
We got your back, man.
I know you guys do. That's why I love you.
We'll be there.
War paint and all, mate.
You just tell us what time and date. We'll be in the background with our camo on.
No, I'll be wearing a lawning cloth. You know, just
I'll wear my grass camo.
you won't be able to see him.
Well, we're going to wrap it up, have dinner. Thank you all for listening. This has been the longest Hunting Connection podcast. Signing off, Zach.
Hainesy.
Ilias.
Hang on.
Actually, I have that there.
Dad, I did it. You know,
That was sounded exactly the same. So,
how many
shit.
people
I've broken
have
something.
messaged me that or like sent me a picture of something they've killed and just written, Dad, I did it.
That's
I
great.
must admit, when you shot your buck,
I used that all day.
Dad, I did it.
Oh, I love that clip. Dad, I did it.
No,
And if none of you's heard that for a second, it's because I clicked a button. But all good. Well, thank you all for listening. If you're not following on social media, Josh is at
Hainesy 0307.
Ilias is at,
Action Man, Matane. Just link me because no one's going to spell that.
and Josh, he's on the toilet. He's Pro Hunter
270.
and Aussie Arrow, or as Josh says, Aussie Sparrow. And then Hunting Connection, tag us in all your hunting photos. Any questions, feel free to ask Josh. Feel free to ask Action Man.
Don't be
Feel free
shy.
to ask
Yeah,
Batesy.
message
If you haven't listened to Send It Mate podcast, jump on there, give them a listen. It's a hell of a ride, and yeah, it's all our good laugh. So thank you all for listening.